Hi, it's the Jay Thomas Show. This is our regurgitation. Music show, Garrett. You know, what would you play? Just heavy metal?
I'd probably play whatever in your 70s show, since that's so good.
Just recently we had a guy on, and we'll have him back on again, Sean. He's going to go to court over this thing.
Kenny Tessel.
I wonder if he has pictures of Roseanne and everything in his barbecue joint.
I bet he does.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
You know, he played, he was on Charles in Charge.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, Charles in Charge. He was on Facts of Life.
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying. I have it right here. He was on Charles in Charge, Hill Street Blues. He was the customer in Hill Street Blues. He was he played a man in Charles in Charge. He was the Facts of Life. He played Chester in 1982. And 83 was a big year for him. He did Hill Street Blues as the customer. And the Facts of Life. So he had, you know, he really had a big career out there in Hollywood.
What did he write? He's a writer.
No, these are his filmography.
Couldn't play the game, though.
No, he couldn't play the game. You know, Charles in Charge. I'm in charge! Where's my meat? Stick this. I had a girl, you know, I had a girlfriend once, I did. And,
now, did you ever bang a woman really hard and give it to her good? Because now you know you're gay. But I mean, when you were a man, when you were a man.
When I was a man. I'm a man.
When you were
I'm a man.
Did a woman ever say, you just banged me good and hard?
I don't think I've ever had a woman say that was the best I've ever had. Okay.
You know what I like about you? You're at least honest about it.
That's never happened. But I've
never heard that either, to be honest.
But I remember one time, this girl that I was engaged to, because I always wanted, there was the fantasy of getting married and having, you know, like I would always go, I'm going to marry her.
But was it because you wanted to wear the white dress?
I told my daughter the other day, I said, that dress upstairs is mine. And she goes, no, that's Mommy's wedding dress. And I said, no, that's my dress, and I want it back. And she was, Daddy, stop it. I said, I want my dress back.
How old is she?
I don't know. No, she's 9. So anyway.
How much therapy are you planning for this poor child?
I brought her to Coney Island yesterday, and that poor child, I put her on the Cyclone, right? And she just made it height-wise, and I put her on that thing, and I videotaped it, you know? And I turned the little flip camera towards her while we were going down the hill. Are you having fun? No! I hate this, Daddy! So the judge is going to see that in a few weeks. So they're going to be taking the child.
Is it on YouTube?
I want to put it up on YouTube, yeah. Just the fear in her eyes.
Is the ex-wife kind of getting used to the fact that you're not around cooking and cleaning anymore, is she?
Oh, God, my dad and I drove by the house this morning because, you know, I take him out for little rides, you know, and so I said, let's drive by the house. All right. So we drive by the house, and she's out there, and she's got a couple of workers out there, you know, pulling stuff out of the car and just moving around. You know, she's very uptight, you know. And so she wore the pants in the family. You know, there's no doubt about that, you know.
Oh, man.
But, you know, we get along. We're getting along much better now.
Good.
You know.
And you and the boyfriend are doing well?
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's good stuff.
Baroni of Phoenix, it's the Jay Thomas Show with Kevin Meaney, 8884-102-102. Yes, Baroni, how are you?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How you doing, Jay?
Good, thank you.
Hey, you're from New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to you a lot on Fridays, you know, on the other Howard station.
Yeah, on 101 on Friday morning, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You might have heard, like, of this girl on that channel. Her name's Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, I know who she is.
Yeah, she's a porno girl. And
right.
I guess she is starting a Senate exploratory. She's going to run for U.S. Senate out of New Orleans.
No, yeah, she's running against
Bittner.
Vetter is his name. Now, the reason why she's doing that, what's funny is I've tried to get her on the show, either this show or Howard's show,
right,
and she won't come on yet. He was caught with not a prostitute, but prostitutes, and he's this right-wing religious guy.
Vettner?
Vitter is his name.
Vitter.
Yeah. So David Vitter. So that's the joke, is that this stripper, prostitute, porno, whatever you want to call her, is running against him. But I haven't seen anything about her, and she hasn't, come on the show or whatever. But, this guy should have been run out of office. He said Jesus Christ has helped him, and his wife is helping him, and he's got an illness. He has an illness. He likes to bang hookers, and so he's going to therapy to recover from it.
And the Lord will help him also.
Yeah. How many senators or governors or representatives do you think really? Like, I have, dude. More power to you. Go bang hookers if you want to. You know what I mean? But just don't be so fucking right winged and fucking throw God down our throats all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
Wow. You are the spawn of Satan, aren't you?
Well, you live in Arizona. My kid's about to go to school in Prescott, and I've said to him, when you get down there, he's been living in Santa Barbara, which is about half and half, liberal California, says half and half. But he's a gun guy, and he says what he's done is, and he goes to a school, a public school, there's a lot of right-wing, a lot of Christians at his school. Yeah. He just kind of keeps his mouth shut, but there are kids that have actually said to him, we really love being with you, but it's too bad we're not gonna be with you in heaven. And there are people that actually say stuff like that to each other.
Holy cow.
But you live in a state that's very, very conservative.
Yeah, well, because a lot of the Mormons that live here, you know what I mean?
Forget the Mormons. What about, the religious right, the people that didn't want the Martin Luther King birthday? They don't even like daylight savings time in Arizona.
That's the stupidest thing, and that has to do a lot with the Mormons and...
The Mormons have caused the hatred of daylight savings time.
No, not daylight savings, but with, the Martin Luther King and all that stuff. That's the stupidest thing.
That was his dream, though, to have daylight savings time out in Arizona.
Yeah, but I just think it was just, you could probably get this girl on Friday,
I'm gonna, Stormy
Daniels.
We'll call Art Sears, and I've tried to get her on once, and she said she hadn't launched her campaign yet.
Well, maybe she's if you Google her right now, Jay, she's starting a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, then now she's started.
Then you just push news. Did you tell her you're on the Howard channel?
I will tell her, Baroni, I will tell her everything. Please email her on your own and tell her it's coming. And you can actually represent me. We don't care who represents us here.
Baroni, you can represent me, too, if you like.
Get Kevin booked in Phoenix. Get him booked. What's a comedy club there?
Improv.
The Improv.
The Improv. That's a right-wing place. Yeah. They're not going to have me out there.
Well, Baroni, thank you. We will try and get her on.
One more thing, Jay. Sure. If she really does run and she's not going to take it, it's just a joke, she could do some damage because she's has a following on Howard 101 because of Bubba the Love Sponge, and those people do a lot of voting and stuff. Mm-hmm. It would be pretty cool to see that in action,
you have to be a registered voter in Louisiana. Even though it's an odd state, you just can't pull into town and show a picture of Bubba the Love Sponge.
No, I understand that, but I'm trying to say he's big down south, and he's syndicated.
She will get a few thousand votes, and I don't know if this guy will be reelected, but I don't think she's going to be the only other candidate. Let's hope that the hooker's not.
Well, I hope the hooker is the only other candidate. That would be wonderful.
I would campaign for her.
I would, too. I think that,
hell yeah, I would.
What all right. She's doing out there, she's pleasing people.
Right. Well, Baroni, thank you very much. Now, Baroni, it's...
I wonder how big of a piece of meat that she's had down her throat. We can ask her that.
She's had a lot of
you've ever had.
She's had a lot of kielbasa down her throat. You know what I mean?
Now, Baroni, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What's going on? Are you off of work? You're relaxing? What's happening?
Maybe he has a different schedule.
Oh, just chilling.
What do you do for a living?
Not much, nothing at all. I've talked to you before. I have a sickness in my stomach. My stomach's
IBS, irritable bowel syndrome?
No, it's called chronic pancreatitis autoimmune deficiency. Means my body's rejecting my pancreas, but yeah, I have to get pancreas removal surgery, and I have cancerous cells and all that shit. It's pretty shitty.
So are you looking at you're looking at like you may not make it?
Right. Yeah.
What kind of time limit do they give you?
Hopefully I have the surgery. They haven't gave me no time limit at all, but it's just up in the air. You know what I mean? Like if my pancreas fails, my body will go into shock and all that stuff. I won't be able to eat and stuff because.
And you're a diabetic because your pancreas isn't working, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Geez, are you calling from a hospital bed or where are you landing?
No, that's it. I'm not calling you from a hospital bed, Jay.
Can you smoke dope? Can you take?
Yeah, I smoke some of the medical stuff from the great state of California.
Let's hear for the great state of California and medical marijuana. But you're not allowed to smoke it in Arizona?
No, that's another right wing.
I hear some banging in the background. They're not building your coffin or anything while we're talking, are they?
No, I was just clapping.
Oh, you were clapping too?
Yeah, yeah.
And that dog barking, what's that all about?
It's a seeing eye dog. He's also blind.
Just the German Shepherd doing your job, Jay.
Kevin.
You know?
All right. Well, Baroni, listen.
Got the spaghetti on the oven. Gonna have a good Italian dinner.
I haven't done this in a long time. Can you put the radio by your pancreas, please? It's the pancreas that we're working on today.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, everybody, quiet for a moment.
Yes.
And I want you to envision Baroni's pancreas. What is the pancreas shaped like? How big of an organ?
It's like a liver.
Like a liver? Is it the size of a liver, Baroni?
Kind of.
Kind of like a liver.
But it's got, like kind of rope around it.
It's got, yeah, exactly. And it's got ducts and all that stuff for your food to go down there. And,
okay, hold on. All right, we got it.
It's good eating.
I'm seeing a liver with ducts on it.
Thanks, Hannibal.
The ducks are quacking now. Out! Out! Out, autoimmune disease! Out! Out of his pancreas! Out!
Baroni, I wish you were here to see Jay. He's sweating.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, we need to get Skype.
Yeah.
You might need another treatment, which you call back in a few days, all right? Tell me how you feel next week, would you?
I think you've been watching too many of that paranormal state or something.
Now, Baroni, if you're not going to believe that I can heal you, and I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
We've done about a half a dozen of these. No one's ever called back. So we're not sure what the outcome is, Kevin.
I healed a girl of cancer.
How did you do it?
Did you?
I did. She watched my special, and just not once, but like 100 times, until where she knew it so well, and she would laugh. She wasn't laughing with it; she laughed at it.
Sure.
And like she goes, I can do better than that. This is terrible. I can't believe that this is even on. So she would just like keep going. This is insane. And she cured herself of cancer.
Looking at you with an HBO special?
As an HBO, so it was an hour special.
And she emailed you or sent you a note?
Yes, and then I met her, and now she's living in San Diego.
And she says
she is cured of cancer. Yes, she went through radiation and everything. She still had to have the radiation and everything. But it was thinking that she was funnier than you and watching it. No, she enjoyed the special in her own way.
Wow. We need to book her sometime.
Her name is Leah.
Okay.
Leah Springborg.
Baroni, good luck with the pancreas. Yes, sir.
Who's that guy? I haven't heard. I listen to your show quite a bit, but I haven't listened in a couple of weeks.
Go online. Kevin Meaney is a comedian and an actor. He was executive.
Who is this guy? I'm the pancreatic king.
He was the executive number 2 in the movie Big.
Oh, okay.
Remember that movie? Yeah.
Oh, Big, the Tom Hanks movie?
Yes, I was in that at a close-up.
He was executive number 2.
Executive number 2. Okay. I did number 2 today also.
That's right.
But meat in my throat.
Listen, I need you to think about what's happened here today, and call me next week.
Where's Shuli at?
I have no idea.
I'm Shuli today.
Shuli's funnier than you, man.
Oh, great.
Now, you don't want Kevin to start hoping you die, do you?
It ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
Ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
Yeah.
All right,
all of a sudden, we're on the air with Billy Bob Thornton.
We'll see you later, Baroni.
All right, there, Jay. Hey, so your son really is going to Prescott, huh?
Yavapai College. Yes, he's a gunsmith and.
I thought you were just bullshitting.
No, he's a for real gunsmith, absolutely. And he's gonna build guns and then hopefully shoot the school up right there toward the end of his.
He should join the post office.
He may work at the post office.
Yeah. Kurt Schilling went to that school.
Get out of here, because it has a great baseball program and soccer, right?
Yep, they got a good baseball program.
Right. He is going to learn how to fix cars and weld things and fly a helicopter and all kind of stuff. And, they study also. Okay?
Yeah.
All right,
brother.
Thank you.
Take it easy, Jay. Have a great day.
Thank you, Baroni.
Bye, Baroni.
Now, you see, he shouldn't have said that to you.
No, he was he's not a fan of mine, obviously.
Now, do you hope he dies because
No, of course not.
Garrett shaking his head. I do too. I think,
But you talked about suicide earlier. Did I ever think about committing suicide? Now I do feel like I want to commit suicide. Look, because of Baroni.
Look, I got a call from somebody at CNBC today who didn't know why she was calling me. Somebody there told her to call me, and she said things like, "Now, have you been on Fox?" And I said, "Yes." We don't do a lot of yelling over here. I said, I've never raised my voice over there. Yeah. And she says, "Are you a conservative?" I should have screamed at her.
What the hell are you talking about? I'm not going to scream on your show. I know when to scream, baby. How dare you? Excuse me, Jay? This is not a screaming show. I know it's not. Moron.
Then she said, and someone tells me you've acted. That's what she said to me.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I've acted. She goes, I'm going to have to IMDb you. And I go, okay, good. Do it, would you?
Yeah, it's really pathetic in these, the twilight of your years.
Then she said, are you a conservative or a Democrat? And I said, I am a tax and spend Democrat. In fact, I think probably your family is living off of money I've given to the government. Didn't blink an eye. Just kept, oh, okay. All right. Power lunch tomorrow.
Right.
All right.
Good. Power lunch.
Than Thank you. 888-410-2-102.
You're not going to be on with the money, honey, are you?
I don't know who I'm on there with.
You know,
I don't.
No, that's the guy, the older guy with the, I know who he is. Wears the nice suits.
Here in New York City, they've closed down the main thoroughfares, and you live in the city.
Oh, this is the most ridiculous,
it's bad?
Yeah, this is totally
so people
stupid.
Can walk or whatever. Yesterday was a day off for us, and I took a vacation here in the city and just hung out where I saw all the foreign people. More Asian women with older Anglo guys than I've ever seen in my life.
Well, they pick them up on the internet.
And they come to New York for the weekend.
I meet you in Times Square.
I know, it's true. So they're all over. And then all of a sudden, I get down to 34th Street or something, and there are aluminum
chairs.
Not just chairs.
Chaise lounges.
Chaise lounges as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, that the city has provided. Now,
right.
These aren't just chairs that these people are bringing down to Times Square and Herald
Square. They were the same chair.
They are provided by the city.
Do you know what happened to them?
They took them.
People stole them.
They stole them. There's no, GPS on these chairs or anything. There's no markings on them. People go, yeah, I'm going to take this chair. I'll take it home.
One woman was quoted as saying, I never thought I'd be laying in a bikini at Times Square. Yeah. And you could see this guy next to her, and you knew he was just sitting there waiting to steal the chair. You could see that that's all he was about.
Because the woman was in the bikini and he wanted to lick the chair or something?
No, he wasn't interested in her. He was like doing the, looking around. That chair was gone. They just... Yeah. Now, is it going to help or hurt traffic here? It's an environmental thing.
I've talked to the cab drivers. I got into a cab today, and I said, what do you think about what's going on with Times Square and Herald Square? It's stupid. This is stupid. I can't take it. It's stupid.
That's how you talk?
Yeah. Scream. I go, will you stop screaming? I can't stop screaming. Stupid. Food.
He would never be invited at CNBC. Never.
No, never. But he was so incensed. First of all, why are people lounging in Times Square and Herald Square? Why are they out there in chairs? Why don't they That's what we have the parks for.
Right.
You know, why do they have to lounge around in Times Square? I don't get it.
Well, you know, I thought it was odd because the cars are going by and all of the, you know, the CO2, is that what comes out of a car? It's spewing all over the place, and they're within like 6 feet of the street, right?
Yeah.
And they have bathing suits on, and they have shorts on as if it was a relaxing kind of a thing,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
Wait till a crazy cab careens into all these people and just kills them all.
How about if a bomb goes off at Starbucks? That'll work.
Yeah, that's why we get our coffee right here at the studio.
Chris of Delaware, the Jay Thomas Show. Kevin Meaney is here.
Thank you, Jay.
In a few minutes, we'll have a man come in the studio who voluntarily drank snake venom, died, and will be here to talk about it.
It's a great book.
Jamshid Hosseini.
Well, you should have, you know, Alex Trebek goes over all his words before he goes on the air. You know, he never mispronounces anything. You know, he's always right there, and you go, God, he really studies. Obviously, you don't look at the notes.
I do. You know what I do?
Before you...
I want people to realize that I want to be shocked by the person that comes in. I don't want to know everything about them. When I'm acting, they always get mad at me because I never know the other parts of the script. I only know my part. I'm doing a movie in town this week. I only have my words in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to say right now.
No, you don't.
So let's say we're acting.
Because you know what acting is? Reacting.
Life acting is what I call it.
Yeah. I'm reacting to you.
And I'm waiting for a reaction to come out of me.
Yes.
That's why
Jahanased Hosseini.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He'll be in our studio.
Right. Chris, hello, Chris. How are you?
Yeah. I just want to...
Can I say one more thing? I'm not trying to be a big deal and know everybody's foreign name. Like, remember when George Bush was running against, you know, the other idiot?
Eisenhower.
No. You know.
John Kerry.
No, the guy before him.
Jimmy Carter.
No, the global warming guy.
Oh, Al Gore.
Al Gore knew everybody's name from all over the world.
Oh, yes.
You know what people thought of that? That he was a smart aleck.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Not George Bush.
No, he didn't know those.
How you doing, squinty eyes?
Chris, hello. Chris of Delaware.
Yeah, a couple comments about some things you said, actually, when I was on hold. One, you only have to remember 2 lines of a part in a movie, so why would you have to be prepared? Number 2...
You know what, Chris? Calling up here and hurting me is not going to make you feel big the rest of the day that you tried to tear somebody down like me?
Do you have any idea what it takes to get into a movie, Chris?
That's exactly right.
2 lines is a couple of grand.
And, I know. The other thing is you mentioned something about older Anglo guys.
With these Chinese or Asian women, you know, usually when it's a holiday, most people leave the city, but I stayed in the city this weekend and just, you know.
Because you're doing a movie.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Well,
anyhow, listen, I only date, I'm a white guy. I'm 48 years old. I only date young Asian women. And
why? Why is that?
Well, first, they're the most beautiful women in the world.
So you like exotics, the exotic looks, okay.
Exotic looks, right.
What about their flat butts? They don't have I'm a butt man. I like a little bubble butt.
I'm a penis man, so they don't have a penis, do they?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
And Kevin, I saw you on HBO maybe 15 years ago. You had this act about big pants.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, of course I remember that. That's a fantastic routine. You get upstairs right now and put your big pants on. The Lobermans are coming over, and you're wearing tight pants. Who needs to be looking at that package? It's disgusting.
I just wanted to tell you that I really enjoyed that HBO special, and it's something that I'll always remember. That was 15 years ago. Is that about right?
Did you know what? You might have had a tumor at one time, Chris, and because of that special, that tumor is dissolved.
Yeah,
I've cured cancer.
Oh, my God.
Well, thank you, Chris. I'm a big fan of yours.
You like these Asian women, and do they treat you differently than American women?
Well, it depends. When you say, the problem is when white guys like you talk about Asian women, they're talking about Chinese.
To be honest, I don't know the difference. I don't know how they know the difference between each other. I'm sure it's a language.
No, I know the difference. I can tell Korean, South Korean, North Korean, Chinese, Japanese.
All right, you know what?
I can. You line them up, and I can tell.
Stay where you are. When we come back, Kevin Meaney and Chris of Delaware will tell us how you can tell the difference between Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Korean, Cambodian, Vietnamese,
Thailand.
Miramanese.
Mayonnaise.
We try and bring you the best of the shows that you've enjoyed and that you have contacted us and say, please, we must hear it again and again and again. It's the Jay Thomas Show.
The Jay Thomas Show.
You have to humiliate for what?
It's fun.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
Afternoon.
Indy. Sirius XM 104.
You go up the mountain with 10 toes, 10 fingers, come down the mountain, 9 toes, 4 fingers. God, that sounds like a good time, doesn't it? Guy that climbed Everest and his pals left him for dead. It's happened to many of us in parking lots of Hooters.
Ooh, what a lucky man he was.
The book is Dead Lucky, Life After Death on Mount Everest. Rodney Lee Conover is in California. I'm in New York City. I'm Jay Thomas. Lincoln Hall, welcome to the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, Jay.
Now, I have a kid that climbs, not just climbs mountains, likes to go straight up with no ropes, no nothing, with the fingers and all that stuff, right?
With no ropes?
Yeah. He does it with ropes sometimes, but he does that other thing where you put the white powder on your hands and you climb up the face of the mountain. I don't know what that's called.
Well, this bouldering is what you do around the base of a cliff without ropes.
That's it. He boulders. And I say, you could fall and die, and your mother and I are worried to death. And he said, but if I didn't live like this, I wouldn't want to be alive. Is that the kind of nonsense you have in your head also, climbing the damn mountain and all that?
Well, that's the sort of conversation I used to have with my mother, so...
What is it? I don't get it. What is the need, do you think, that you and many other adventurers have, that you look at something and you have to go where, first of all, it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's not going to be fun, you know?
Well, yes, I think comfort can be overrated sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think of marathon running, I mean, people get a lot of satisfaction out of that, and that's certainly not comfortable.
No.
But I think the reason why people are prepared to put up with discomfort as well as danger, which is obviously the situation with, mountaineering, is that, it's the intensity of that experience. I mean, it's a beautiful environment. It's very challenging. There are huge dangers, and you have to understand those dangers. And so you're constantly, I guess, hypersensitized to what's going on around you. So there's an intensity of that you're living in a very intense state because you have to, because if you get the littlest thing wrong, you can die. Well,
they left you for dead. That's what your book, Dead Lucky, is about.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That was, high altitude mountaineering is by far the most dangerous because you get these physiological problems that can come out of nowhere. And the most dangerous of those is edema, either pulmonary edema in your lungs, which stops you from being able to breathe because you get fluid there, and or cerebral edema in your skull, which puts pressure on your brain and basically kills you. And that's what happened to me was the cerebral edema.
Did they touch your neck and feel? I saw a guy recently, unfortunately, get killed in a motorcycle accident, and they were touching his neck and looking for the pulse, and I saw them say he was dead. Did they touch your neck and try and find your pulse? First of all, it's freezing, right? And I mean, did they put their fingers on you? And they left you for dead. What made them think you were dead?
Oh, I think the fact that I was lying there with my eyes just sort of wide open and just looking glazed and looking dead, really. And there was they couldn't...
Did you ever play dead when you were a kid? Were you good at that?
Well,
I got to ask.
I remember doing it at school,
yeah.
But that was a long time ago. But no, it's the danger is.
No, but if you weren't dead, how would they have? I mean, what else could they have done? You could have died because they left you. Then another group comes along and you're sitting on a rock, right?
Yes, well, that's right, exactly.
That's what's crazy is that not only did they didn't just find you, but you got up, you sat on a rock, and had the next group not come, you would have been dead.
Well, that's right, exactly, and hence the book name Dead Lucky.
Dead Lucky. So what could they have done to figure out if you were dead or not?
Well, I mean, I guess they couldn't sense my pulse. They could couldn't sense any breath coming through my mouth or through my nose. I mean, it's very high up there, obviously, and they're exhausted as well. But so they did the old this always works trick, which was poking me in the eye.
Oh, my God. They poked you with your eye open?
Well, I actually don't even remember that happening. But, there was 2 hours when there was a radio conversation with the expedition leader way down the bottom of the mountain, with the Sherpas with me way up near the top, and 2 hours of discussion about what to do. And the expedition leader said, well, poke him in the eye. And
with a finger or with a stick or what?
Oh, with a finger. Well, there's no sticks up there.
There's not a stick up there?
No, there's no trees for about another 10,000 feet lower down.
You know, if you know how you hang. By the way, go to LincolnHall.net. The book is Dead Lucky. Lincoln Hall has written it, Life and Death on Mount Everest. They left his ass for dead. You know when you go out with a bunch of your friends and something goes down and they abandon you, right? And then a couple of days pass and you go, you bastards. You left me at the friggin' thing, and remember that the cops come and the whole thing. Did you get down when you were alive and go, you sons of bitches, you left me? Did you get pissed off at them?
Well, no, really.
Oh my God!
But things went wrong for me very near to the summit, and the summit ridge on that north ridge of Everest is actually quite treacherous. It's not an easy. It's not something. It's difficult climbing, and the Sherpas with me did an amazing job to get me down through most of those difficulties.
The Sherpas are the locals that help anybody that goes up and down. And are they just able to go up and down at will, and they're just their lungs or their use of the exposure? I mean, is it silly for us as we go up as Anglo-Saxons or Westerners or whatever, when the Sherpas can just run up and down there almost in their bare feet?
Well, I mean, it's certainly not like that. I mean, Sherpas do die of altitude sickness, and they certainly get frostbite. But no, it's like the Indians in the Andes, in Bolivia and places like that, where they've lived for centuries or more than that at extreme altitudes, and so not extreme altitudes, but altitudes of 10,000 feet or something like that. So, or 12,000 feet, those sorts of heights. So they have about 10% more blood pulsing through their veins, and they're a very stocky kind of person. So they can deal with the cold a bit better.
I'm built like a Sherpa. I look just like he just described me.
Oh, well, maybe you should go to Everest then.
Tremendous amount of blood. Rodney Lee Conover, you're built like a Sherpa, actually. My buddy Rodney. Now,
more like one of those mountain animals.
That's right. Now, here's our question. When you say extremities were frostbitten, can your penis get frostbitten? We were talking about this.
Tell him no and tell him why.
Well, actually, at extreme heights like that, it's highly unlikely.
Really?
Because what happens is the air is so cold and so dry, and you're gasping for oxygen, even if you're using oxygen gear. It's so dry that all your mucous membranes get dried out. You get dehydrated. You can't. The temperatures are so low that when you turn on your little stove, it takes half an hour to boil half a mug.
Is that what mountaineers call it? Their little stove?
Did you understand the question, Lincoln?
When you turn on your little stove, is that mountain talk?
No.
When you said mucus just now, are you saying now? Rodney says that your penis goes inside of you, or are you saying
shrinkage?
Does it really like the old joke?
Like a turtle
shrinks. I was saying that you'd have to be careful of that extremity, like your toes or your fingers.
Well, Jay, you get in your tent and you turn on your little stove.
I heard that too.
Well, okay. Well, I'll just say why I was talking about the stove. The thing is, you're very dehydrated,
right?
So you really don't feel like taking a leak up there. But what can happen is if you've how after you've taken a leak, sometimes you give things a bit of a flick to get any drops off the end.
Yeah.
Well, if one of those drops freezes, it can actually slice like a bit of glass. So,
oh my God.
So do you like that?
That's all. So you don't get that. So now you're in this picture in the front of the book. You're holding your hand up. How many fingers did you lose?
Well, I guess. Well, I lost the top joints of all of them, apart from my thumbs.
So you lost 8 tips of your fingers?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could still play the piano and stuff.
Well, I can still type. I could never play the piano.
Yeah.
So you got these little short stubby fingers now. They couldn't fix them. They couldn't put any tips back on. You're like,
can they use something else for the tips?
Yeah.
Well, you can get prosthetics for $5,000 each, but
no.
I mean,
how much is that for all fingers?
8 times 5, it's $40,000.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I can't imagine that they would. That they'd be of any use apart from.
And you lose toes also? Did you lose some toes?
Oh yeah, I lost the whole toe.
You lost the whole toe. Which one?
But it's what the doctors call the great toe.
The big toe.
Well, yeah, but they call it a great toe for some reason.
Well, we call it the big toe here in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
don't you pull that English stuff on us, Lincoln?
Don't try to be sophisticated.
We throw things in the trash, not in the bin. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, I'm aware.
And we call it penis, not little stove.
Yeah, and we also say Z and not Zed.
And schedule.
Actually, I say schedule it too, because when you're on the radio and you have a radio shed, I mean, you don't have a radio shed, do you?
Shed.
Apart from
schedule.
Dead Lucky is the book, Life and Death on Mount Everest, Life After Death on Mount Everest, Lincoln Hall. Now, you come back, you've lost the tips of your fingers, you've lost one of your big, huge toes, your buddies left you and everything else. Are you going to go back up the mountain?
Well, no, I think.
Good.
Is a certain answer.
Yeah. You're done with the mountain.
Yeah, and the mountain's done with me, I hope.
Now, you didn't make it to the top. Is that like the worst thing that could happen to you?
Well, the first time I attempted Everest, I was climbing without oxygen, and that's 20-odd years ago, and I turned back below the summit. But no, this time I actually did reach the summit, and I had my sort of death incident on the way down. Mm-hmm. And to my mind, and also I guess to the media and everything, the amazing thing was my survival rather than me getting to the summit.
Do you remember waking up and sitting on this rock after these guys had left you for dead? For hours you were frozen apparently, and then all of a sudden you're on we only have 60 seconds. Do you remember sitting on the rock, or is that all a blur?
Oh, no, it was when I got through the hallucinations and through the night and I realized where I was very much aware of where I was, and I knew I didn't want to be there.
Right. Okay. Are you a Scotch drinker, Lincoln?
No. Actually, after Everest, I haven't been drinking, actually.
No drinking.
I mean, well, you can't hold the bottle.
That's right. That's right.
But I might get over that. I might get over that with
you said there's no use to put tips on there. Now I say, well, we'll contrary, my friend.
You need one of those hats that has the beer cans in it, and the little, the little straws.
Bottle.
Hey, Lincoln, thanks for being with us, Lincoln Hall. It is an unbelievable story. Dead Lucky, Life After Death on Mount Everest. Lincoln Hall, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Okay. Do you have any nicknames now? They call you Stubby or anything? Or are you just still Lincoln?
Missing Link, I guess.
Missing Link, they call him. All right, there you go. Hey, thanks, Lincoln.
Wow. Cheers.
Unable to masturbate or pick his nose. Those are the things that we forgot to ask, but, you're out of time sometimes.
This November, America will be faced with a choice of candidates for president. The Democrats have the White House.
I'm so in love with you.
And the Republicans are ready to fight for it.
If you're looking for someone who's never changed any position, then I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy.
But America can't forget that there are still two men in this race. Jay Thomas and Ira the Weatherman. One man pretends to be a patriot.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light.
The other man promises you everything.
If I'm elected, I'll give free pretzels to everyone.
I'm now a member of the majority.
Who do you trust?
My opponent thinks that meaningless people should be aborted.
Ira or Jay? Only one man can go to the White House.
When I get to the White House, the first thing I'm gonna do is take a nap.
Jay Thomas can't even keep a civil tongue in his mouth during a debate.
Do you think a man that started pool boy can fix the country? I don't.
And you know what, Ira? What do you do, okay?
Jay,
shut the fuck up.
But you are a legend.
No, I'm nothing. No, fuck you. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm turning the fucking equipment.
Jay, fuck you, my friend.
I've made my choice. Ira the Weatherman for president.
I'm Ira the Weatherman. And I approve this message.
Jay Thomas. Thomas.
Yeah, little thing, medically they call pussyitis.
Jay Thomas.
In Indy. Sirius XM 104.
So you're this fruity little Jewish guy from Brooklyn, and you love the Rolling Stones. Ha, ha, ha. You're never going to get to meet them. Well, Bill German did, and he met them, and he wrote a book, and he was on the Jay Thomas Show. Bill German, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. Go to BillGerman.com. It's an unusual show, isn't it, Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Very unusual.
And let the record show that I showed up early, and I'm willing to stay late.
You have an incredible radio voice.
Oh, well, thank you.
Were you in radio?
And I have the face for radio, too, right?
No, you're okay looking. You know.
I have, thank you. I've done some radio.
Well, no,
yeah.
you said that. Now, what, am I not supposed to say anything now? He says, how you doing? I say, wait. Then you go, I have a face for radio. I have to respond. Either you're ugly or you're handsome.
I was just doing material.
And, of course, I'm doing the radio thing. The kind of angry radio guy. It's big.
Oh, yeah.
It's very big.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's coming back.
So how was it that you were like 14 or 15 and you got to hang with the Rolling Stones? How was that?
Well,
why would they take you in?
Why? I mean, you'd have to ask them, I guess. But I like to think that, they saw I had no ulterior motives and, I was a decent kid. I was just this nice Jewish boy from Brooklyn. That's where I got started. I was born in 1962, so I'm 46 now. And I'd never even heard of the Stones for the first 10 years of my life. If you didn't have a Saturday morning TV show, I never heard of you. So I knew the Jackson 5 and the Beatles because of their cartoons and the Monkees. And then in 1972, after my 10th birthday, my sister shows me some of the Stones albums. And I'm telling myself, well, these guys can definitely beat up the Monkees.
Right.
So I get into the Stones.
I don't know if they could beat up the Monkees.
Maybe not anymore.
But they were drug addicts and, they were emaciated looking. And...
Well, that's the thing. They were the furthest thing from me as this Jewish kid in Brooklyn who grew up with no drugs in my house.
And they were second-class citizens. The Beatles were considered it. Yeah. And the Stones were always, and I was a disc jockey, they were always considered good, but they weren't the Beatles.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Did you like the Beatles?
I did like the Beatles, but the Stones were the rebellious ones, you know. So when you're a kid and you've done nothing rebellious in your life and you see these guys, I totally became enthralled with them and, read up on them. I heard that someone got murdered at one of their concerts. Like, oh my God, how cool is that?
The Hells Angels were their bodyguards.
Their bodyguards, yeah, that was a smart move, right.
No, you want to have, look, you're going to give someone trouble, you should get killed.
Yeah. Well,
I remember that. I was on the air someplace, and it was like a so what,
Yeah.
All right, but
supposedly that guy pulled out a gun and.
Yeah, he deserved to die.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't think people deserve to die when they put?
I don't know if he was going to do something with that gun. We don't know, but
you kill a guy immediately as soon as the gun comes out. You gun him down.
I guess it's your service would.
You're right.
So anyway, I was. Totally obsessed with the Rolling Stones as a kid, reading up on all this rebellious stuff that they did.
Nerdy kid.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Because you're like a nerdy adult.
Well, I was, thank you. I went to yeshiva, which is, Jewish version of parochial school.
Right.
So I didn't see anybody like the Rolling Stones, And, so I listened to all their music, got into all their songs, They had songs with lyrics that I couldn't say in my house. If I said the word bitch in my house, I'd get a bar of soap in my mouth.
Let's sleep together,
Right. Well, let's spend the night togetger, right. And then,
spend the night
they had, a song called Sweet Virginia where they say,
Is that about the vagina?
No, believe it or not.
What was it about?
I think it's about, Virginia. Someone named Virginia.
I thought about the vagina. I see all those years I used to go, I know what that's about. All right.
There's another song on that record, Loving Cup, that's about, Cunnilingus, actually. So that was the representative Cunnilingus song on that record.
How do you meet the Rolling? How old?
Okay. So, I was 17 years old. I started a newsletter when I was 16 years old by sneaking into the mimeograph room of my high school. See, in addition to being a Rolling Stones freak, I was also an aspiring journalist, and I was studying journalism in high school. One of my idols was Tom Snyder, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Who I was friends with.
Oh, yeah.
You know Tom?
I never got to meet him.
Never got to meet Tom. Wonderful guy.
And, I was obsessed with him. Yeah. In a way, he was a parody of himself, but so were the Stones, real characters. So anyway, I wanted to be a journalist, and I figured, I'm just going to take this upon myself by sneaking into the mimeograph room, running off the early copies of the newsletter, which I did. My early readership was like 0, because when I started this in Brooklyn in 1978, on my 16th birthday, all the kids were into Saturday Night Fever in Brooklyn.
Right.
So I tried to hand them the newsletter for $0.25 apiece, and they were like,
it was about the Rolling Stones?
It was only about the Rolling Stones.
Why did you have to sell it? Why don't you just give it away for free?
Yeah, well, there are people I've met from back then who tell me that I paid them to take copies.
And what did it say? What they were doing?
Right, just what they were doing. They were about to appear on Saturday Night Live, so I wrote about that. I wasn't giving you anything that TV Guide wasn't. But, eventually I developed sources. And there were grown-ups who were actually hanging out with the Rolling Stones in New York who I would meet like at record stores. See, the Stones, or at least Mick, Keith, and Ronnie Wood, were all living in Manhattan. They all had apartments here. They had an office here called Rolling Stones Records, and they would go out to the nightclubs like 3-4 nights a week.
Did you ever sneak out of your house and go to a nightclub?
I did, but, not until I was like 17-ish, 18, yeah. So, 17. But anyway, so I was doing the newsletter for about a year, had very little readership. The kids in Brooklyn were like, forget about it. What the heck is this? Who are the Rolling Stones?
Were you ever beaten and they threw your newsletter?
Almost. They wanted to.
In the gutter?
Yeah. Well, I almost got beaten up in gym class when I wrote in the school paper that disco was for conformity conscious robots, and
they must have beaten you because they didn't know what conformity meant.
Right. I mean, they all looked alike. They all wanted to be Tony Manero. The girls only wanted to date guys that looked like Tony Manero. And honest to goodness,
but
one
didn't they
kid
think
actually
the Stones were like faggy?
Yeah. Well, yeah. What? They wear makeup, they wear long hair,
skinny.
They would tell me constantly, get a fucking haircut already. I heard that every day because I wore my hair like Mick, So, anyway, the irony is that the people who wind up embracing me through all this is the Stones themselves. And so that happened because at age 17, I said to myself, the Rolling Stones are finally going to know about my little newsletter. So I found out where they were having a party for their Emotional Rescue album. There was a place on 37th Street called Danceteria, a nightclub. And it was a press party. I knew I couldn't get in. I wasn't on a guest list. I didn't have any connections. I just show up with a stack of my newsletters, and I figured, let me wait for them to come out. So Mick comes out first, and he gives off a vibe like, don't come near me.
What time? Was it in the morning?
No, it was actually, because it was for the press, it was an afternoon party.
Right. It was
I didn't even think Keith woke up before 3 o'clock, but this party was set for 3 o'clock. The Stones didn't show up until about 5.
To sell albums, he got up to sell. Right, he got up to sell an album, right.
So Mick, gives off this vibe, don't come near me. So I didn't take it personally. I know that's Mick. But then Keith and Ronnie Wood and Bill Wyman came out, and, they were the opposite. Keith comes out, and he's standing around, willing to sign autographs. And there's actually a photo on the cover of my book. You were just talking about Jack Daniels. You can see he's got a bottle of Jack in his hands.
Yeah, I met him with Patty. I knew Patty Hansen, and we were at some roller, the roller skating was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I would go, and I hated it. And they always make me the last guy of the whip. You ever do that thing where they whip you around you ever do roller skating? It was stupid. So I get in this limo sitting outside, and Patty Hansen, who was dating him, said, Jay, I want you to meet my boyfriend. And I get in, and it's Keith Richards, right?
Yeah.
And it's Richards, right? It's not Richard, right? Keith Richards.
Well, the funny thing is he was born Richards. They took the S off to get confused on purpose with Cliff Richard, who was big in the early 60s in England.
So what is
and then he re-put the S on.
Right, he's done it twice.
Richards, yeah.
Right, so it's Keith Richards again. And there he is sitting in the back of the limo, and he's got this bottle of Jack Daniels, and he says, would you like a pull, mate? and I, he had just had his mouth on it. You know what I mean? But I figured, if he offered, I like Jack Daniels. So I took a hit. But how often did he carry a bottle of Jack Daniels with him?
Constantly.
Oh, like a bottle of water now, right?
Right, exactly.
Why didn't he ever die?
I don't know. Science has not figured that out yet. I guess
we're going to go away and come back, but there was a rumor that he used to have his blood changed.
Yeah.
Were you around them when all that was supposed to?
That was a little before my time. His heroin days were before my time.
Okay. And so finally, when they allow you in their world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you were never going to be a threat to them stealing any women, right?
Right.
I mean, it's true. Right.
Well, you already commented on my looks. Yes.
No, but you're also so into the writing and all. You weren't doing it to get laid.
Right. I really wasn't. I was into it for the writing, for the journalism.
But you also seem a little stalky, too. You could be considered a stalker.
I don't think so. Well,
what are you talking about?
If there were more stalkers like me, John Lennon would still be alive. I mean, I was this innocent kid. They obviously picked up on it. I was a teenage kid. Mm-hmm. They could tell that all I wanted to do was just do my newsletter and give them the newsletter. And so, yes, I used to follow them around constantly. But that's
and did
really
you
all
ever
I
get
wanted
to go
do.
on an airplane with them and travel out of town? And
I did. Well, it's in the book. But yeah,
Okay.
there was one time where I flew with Ronnie Wood, but I was not on the official plane. A lot of that has to do with the fact that that although I was embraced by the members of the Stones, the people around them didn't embrace me so much at times. Right.
Of course not. You were a pain in the ass, probably. You know.
I think they were the pains in the ass.
How a nice boy from Brooklyn got mixed up with the Rolling Stones and lived to tell about it under their thumb, Bill German. Now, that's not your picture on the cover.
No, so that's Keith.
Yeah, this will sell
around.
the book that you have Keith Richards' face in the book.
I hope so.
Do they allow that, by the way?
You didn't need permission. That was actually taken by a paparazzo photographer. I did not know that photo was taken. That's me in the background at 17 years old.
I see that's you, but this is what's going to sell the book.
Yes,
okay. But it's okay with me.
But that's the first moment that I ever met them, the story I was just telling you about, Keith coming out of the club, and so that's the moment that changed my life.
Stay where you are. He will continue with these ridiculous impersonations of the Stones on the Jay Thomas Show.
Do you have feelings of inadequacy? Do you suffer from shyness? Do you sometimes wish you were more assertive? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, ask your doctor or pharmacist about margaritas. Margaritas are the safe, natural way to feel better and more confident about yourself and your actions. Margaritas can help ease you and let you tell the world that you're ready and willing to do just about anything. You will notice the benefits of margaritas almost immediately. Shyness and awkwardness will be a thing of the past. Stop hiding and start living with margaritas. Margaritas may not be for everyone. Women who are pregnant, nursing, should not use margaritas. However, women who wouldn't mind becoming pregnant are encouraged to try it. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, vomiting, incarceration, loss of motor control, loss of clothing, loss of money, loss of virginity, table dancing, headache, dehydration, dry mouth, and a desire to sing karaoke. Also may cause you to have your foot chewed off by a Jack Russell Terrier. So start living, people. Start living with margaritas.
Jay Thomas.
The Jay Thomas Show.
It's the afternoon show. Sirius XM 104. The Jay Thomas Show. Indeed. Sirius XM 104.
It's our best of regurgitation. Bill German's in the studio with me in New York. How a nice boy from Brooklyn got mixed up with the Rolling Stones and lived to tell about it. He has Keith Richards' face on the cover, Under Their Thumb, by Bill German. So here's the question: they let you in with them. Did one of them like you more than the other ones? Like, did Keith think you were okay to be around, and the other ones?
Yeah. Well, Keith and Ronnie really welcomed me in, Ronnie Wood. And,
Mick didn't like you that much.
Mick, he puts a wall up around, so he keeps everybody.
The drummer who looks 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Charlie was 100 then, right? Did he give a shit or
No, he did not give a shit.
He doesn't look.
Yeah, no, I even say in the book that, I did the newsletter for 17 years, and at the end of it, I still believe that he had no idea who I was.
Right.
Mick was nice to me at times, not so nice at other times. There's a chapter in the book called A Nice Bunch of Guys, and it's just about Mick because he has multiple personalities. So he could be really nice to you one day, and the next day you can walk by him and he won't make eye contact, won't shake your hand, won't acknowledge you at all.
That's true of a lot of these lead singers.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Sometimes I give him a break because he's more famous than Keith. If you, went out on the street right now and said, name one member of the Rolling Stones, someone would say Mick, they wouldn't say Keith.
Right.
And, so there's more demands on his time, I guess. I don't know,
Were you ever there and they had an argument? And Keith would say, or Mick would say, get that little prick out of here while we're,
Yes, well, you know what? So, in 1985.
That's what I want to hear.
Well, they were recording an album called Dirty Work, okay? And they did it. It was 1985. They're here in New York doing it, and they were contractually obligated to cut an album for CBS Records. At that point, they wanted to kill each other. I mean, Keith wanted to stab Mick in the eyeballs. The reason being, Mick wanted to go solo at that point. Mick was done with the Stones by the early to mid 80s.
But whoever he went solo with would have played the same music that the Stones played. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, it would have had to have been the same type of music. That's the only.
Yeah. Well, actually,
was it about money?
Mick did do a solo tour and wound up, out of 25 songs, played 20 of his 20 Stone songs.
Exactly.
So,
Right.
But for Keith, there's nothing else except the Stones. That's the number one thing in his life. So, anyway, so they have to record this album as the Rolling Stones, but they were like hardly ever there together, Mick and Keith. Mick would be there from dusk until midnight. Keith and Ronnie Wood would first show up at midnight, stay until about 8 o'clock.
And just add their music to the tracks.
Add their music.
It worked. Did it work?
Actually, kind of the other way around. Well, some people don't really like that album. It's not one of the best Stones albums, Dirty Work. But it was really the other way around. It was Keith and Ronnie Wood who generated most of the music. Then Mick would have to come in. So the thing is Keith told me, Bill, you can stop by the studio anytime, man, as long as Brenda's not there. I was like, well, who's Brenda?
Who is Brenda?
Well, Brenda was Keith's code name for Mick. Behind his back. It was not a term of endearment, and it was just his way of venting, and referring to his prima donna lead singer. Like I said, he wanted to kill Mick that summer, so calling him Brenda was a much healthier way to
So
vent.
you were like this little person that hung around the Stones.
And got to observe it all, and Keith would let me come to the studio, just not when Mick is there because it would get too tense. And like you were alluding to before, Mick would say, get this guy out of here,
You have that in the book, the fights?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there.
I heard a rumor that I want to say that if it's not Elton, it can't be Elton John. It's got to be, who's the androgynous English singer? It was Mick Jagger.
Oh, Bowie?
And had a fight at a restaurant in England where they tore the restaurant up. And the damage was like, $30,000-$40,000 or something. And they paid for it. Did you know anything about that?
No, I haven't. You're saying it's Mick and Bowie?
They were in a restaurant, and words were exchanged, and they actually had a fist fight where they tore the place up.
I haven't heard that one.
Okay.
The one that I get asked about lately is, did Mick and Bowie have an affair? Which, if they did, I didn't witness it.
You know what? I did Rockline one time, and Mick called Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart was my guest. And Jagger called, and then Elton John called, which I couldn't believe was happening. But they all did gay stuff when they called, and called each other girls' names, and so it was like, who knows if they had sex or whatever, but don't all English guys seem fruity anyway? I
was just going to say, I guess it's a British thing.
Fruity, aren't they?
Well, Keith didn't go down that avenue, so.
Right. Now, when he would bring a woman around that wasn't his wife, and they got this kid around, that would have pissed me off too.
Yeah,
because you're writing the friggin' newsletter.
Right, but I have to say, I never saw that with Keith. Keith and Ronnie Wood were, completely,
You never saw another woman?
Not with Keith and Ronnie Wood. With Mick, however, I was told to cover up some of his infidelities.
I meant Mick. I guess Mick. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Mick.
Keith and Patty, you're right.
Excuse me. I meant to say Mick.
Mick ran around. Yeah, no, they would tell me.
But he would say to you, get out, when he came in with a woman?
Yeah, well, he wouldn't let me print anything.
Well,
there was a period where I had to submit my text to them before it was printed. Went out to the public. So, don't put anything about, me and this one or that one,
Now, did you make lots of money after you got into the thing with them?
No.
Why not?
I made shit money. The Stones don't really pay people. I mean,
not pay you, but couldn't you sell this,
I had like different business relationships with the Stones. There was one point where they were paying me directly, but most of the time, I did the newsletter for a total of 17 years. Most of the time, I was, making money from subscriptions, but I had to pay my own way, which I actually prefer doing it that way because I was able to maintain a little bit of independence. I made crap money. Part of it is I charged like $7 a year, at times, or like $10 a year.
And no publisher came to you and said, now, of course, you'd have a blog and all that other stuff, right?
Right.
So you didn't even make a lot of money on it.
No. But I was lucky because I had good deals on my apartments. I got an apartment from Keith Richards' pharmacist, which cost me like $400 at the time.
His pharmacist?
Oh, yeah. His pharmacist, who, by the way, was also a Talmudic scholar. And Keith really took
But did the pharmacist give him, you say pharmacist, you would think he goes to the doctor, gets a prescription, and was he getting
a licensed pharmacist by the state of New York, who befriended Keith and Ronnie. I have a whole chapter about him in the book.
Of course, if they had died, he would go up on charges, but they just didn't die.
Yeah, well, at the end of the night, if he took one pill from some old biddy, she wouldn't miss it. But do it to a few old biddies, and then you bring it to Keith and Ronnie.
So he was taking pills from
one here, one there,
What sort of pills do old ladies take that the Stones would want?
I don't know.
Did you do blow with them?
I actually didn't. It just was not
shoot up
part of
heroin?
I never did any of that stuff.
You missed all of the
this
fun,
day.
You know.
Well, for me, the fun was in the music. That was the reward.
Right.
You know. I mean, really, I saw some incredible music, you know, went to, like, these private concerts, and I would get, like, a concert in Ron Wood's kitchen, you know.
Did you get laid a lot?
Not by Stones fans. Believe it or not, I had a non-Stones fan policy. I addressed it in the book because I just thought it would lead to too many headaches, because these girls, some of them are nuts and they want something from you. If they're sleeping with you only because you're connected to the Stones, you know, they're going to want something like a pass or bring me to mixed party or Keith party. It could just create too many problems.
Oh, they would act nuts in the party, and then you would get thrown out.
Exactly. So one time I did take this girl. I mean, the girls that I dated in the 80s had, you know, were not Stones fans. I had no problem meeting girls. So I take this one girl to Mick's birthday party.
Who didn't care about it?
Didn't give a shit about the Stones. And those were the girls that I dated or slept with.
But once they got there, they had to be excited.
This one really did not care about the Stones. She freaked out in front of Jack Nicholson. But I didn't care, because I don't know Jack Nicholson. I'm not trying to work with Jack Nicholson. So, you know, I don't care if I'm embarrassed in front of Jack Nicholson as long as Mick didn't see it, which he didn't. It was at Mick's birthday party, his 42nd birthday party.
Did Keith Richards ever, you ever hear, he had his blood removed, and they said that he would go to Canada. Of course, the Canadians let you do anything.
No, I believe the rumor said Switzerland.
And he would get his blood removed, and that was supposed to cure him of addiction. And to this day, no one knows if that's really a cure for heroin addiction.
Yeah, I've been told.
Did he ever say that did he ever talk about heroin to you?
Yeah. Well, you know.
What did he say?
That he admitted that he was the weak link in the chain of the Stones, and that he admits that he almost like really fucked up the Stones because, he was so out of it, and he left it all to Mick, you know, to take care of the business. And then when he tried to come back, it was like Mick, you know, got very territorial. You know, I'm taking care of the business.
And Mick wasn't a big drug doer? He must have been doing blow or something.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Right. But when you're hooked on heroin, it's like you're in like a haze.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, for like the last 20 or so years, Mick is like a health nut.
Did you ever sit with Keith Richards? He's in that haze. It's all, and he's got the Jack Daniels. He's got his arm around you and your cigars, you know, cigarette smoke in your mouth. And you're sitting there and he would talk to you in that kind of drunken, you know, weird. Is that in the book?
Yeah, that's in the book.
You know, drooling and drunken.
I have one, funny you should say drooling. I have one scene in the book where he really is drooling and all that. It was kind of uncomfortable. But
I tasted his spit. I can just tell you right now.
What did you catch?
You know what? I really, you know, he offered it to me and I thought, you know, I can't say no. So I took a hit, you know, and drank it. We sat there for a while and he said, do you like roller skate? I said, no, I don't like it. I don't either. I don't get it. So he sat back. And we just sat in the back seat, and it was kind of like not much to talk about. And, you know, I just waited till it was time to go. And I said, okay, man, it was great meeting you. I'll see you later. He couldn't have been nicer, and she's very nice, too.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Lou of, is it Barrie, Ontario? Yes, Lou, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Bill German is here. Go to BillGerman.com. Under their thumb, he was met by the Rolling Stones, little nerdy kid. And yeah, go ahead, Lou.
I was just wondering, there was no mention of Bill Wyman. What was Bill Wyman like in covering the Stones? And one more thing, I think Some Girls is the best rock album of the 1970s.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lou, I kind of agree with you about some.
Bill Wyman, the producer, the impresario. Did he like you?
You mean the bassist in the Stones? Yeah,
right.
He did like me. He was a very nice guy. He told me early on, don't print pictures of me with any girls. He introduced me to his girlfriend in New York. I was going to print a picture, and he told me not to because he didn't want the one in New York to know about the one in L.A. and the one in L.A. to know about the one in London, and so on and so on.
But you didn't care about that anyway, did you?
Not really. But I just wanted to print an innocent picture, but I didn't realize it wasn't so innocent of him and his girlfriend. And, you know, he got into a little bit of trouble with girls. You know, that was his obsession. And he wound up dating a 13-year-old girl when he was in his 40s.
Yes.
And then married her.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
And
he married her? How old was she?
He married her. At that point, she was 20, and I think he was 52.
But he dated her from 14 to 20.
Off and on, yes. Yep. And, you know,
where were
the
her
cops were
parents?
after him. Well, that's a great story. Her mom started dating his son, and there was talk of a double wedding, actually, and I lay it out in the book. It's too confusing to get into now, but I figured it out for the book.
Okay, that's fine. That's good.
I think that if it had happened, if both couples got married, Bill Wyman's son would have become his father-in-law.
Oh, I'm thinking of Bill Graham, excuse me, when I said impresario.
Right, well, that's why, I said the bassist in the band. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think he would have become, Bill Wyman's son would have become his father-in-law. His wife would have become his daughter-in-law. I mean,
so recently, Keith Richards was in a hotel, and he's suddenly in a coconut tree outside of the hotel, and he falls out of the tree and almost dies. He breaks a bone in his neck or whatever. Are you still in contact with him? Were you able to ask him?
No.
What were you doing to get in the tree?
I haven't been in close contact with these guys. I just sent Keith a book like a week or two ago, and Ron.
But Keith likes you, but Mick never really liked you that much.
Yeah, Mick kind of doesn't like anybody in some ways.
But
I mean, Mick did some nice things for me. I'll give you a quick story of something nice that he did for me once. I mean, there's a few. He hooked me up to be the official newsletter. You know, that's one thing he played a role in. But you didn't
charge enough.
I didn't charge enough. And then he once hooked me up with Ben Stiller, believe it or not, to do a movie. Ben Stiller was going to write a movie about some Stones fans wanting to meet the Stones. It was a fictitious movie, and Ben Stiller was going to star in it with, believe it or not, Brad Pitt, who was nobody at this time. It was early 94. And I was going to be a script consultant. Mick told Ben, go meet this guy. He deals with all our crazy fans. You know. So Mick has done some nice things. I'll tell you one more quick story.
Well, what happened to the movie?
The financing fell through. The Stones originally were supposed to finance it, and it never happened. And it was before Ben Stiller became big. He and I went to lunch, and I was waiting for him. I went up to the wrong person because he was not a household name back then. This is early 94. And Mick once did a nice thing for me. The first time I ever went to his house, he had a 5-story townhouse on the Upper West Side, 81st and West End, which, by the way, there should be a law against this, but it was next door to an all-girls school, which you'd think Mick Jagger living next door to an all-girls school. But anyway, so I was interviewing him. Interview's going really well, and I asked him, what music are you listening to? And he says, let me go to my turntable, and while he's doing that.
Is that how he talks, or is that just a really
No, it's really Mick. And so, first of all, he puts on different voices, so it depends what day you catch him.
Well, the day I heard him with Rod Stewart, it was a woman's voice. I'm not kidding. It was the craziest thing, and then of course, the rest of the gang called everybody in a woman's voice.
Well, when I'm at his house, actually, the phone rings, and he picks up the phone as a woman.
What is
an old
that?
Spanish, hello? And I think he was screening his own phone calls as his own cleaning lady. That's what because then I called him.
I think I would know that was a man pretending he was a woman.
Well, I called him once, and he picks up the phone. I didn't know it was him. Someone picks up the phone. Hello? And I said, hi, can I speak to Mick? Who's calling? I said, Bill German from the Beggar's Banquet newsletter. Oh, hi, Bill. How are you?
And he just becomes a man again.
Becomes a man again.
Eric of Wyoming, the Jay Thomas Show. Bill German. Yes, hello.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, Bill, I was curious, with the Stones and their rock star lifestyle and all the things that happen, I mean, how much practice time did you ever see them putting in?
You know what? I never think about that, because you do. You have to practice and learn the words. It's exactly. And I saw him Halloween night about 8 or 9 years ago, and they were saying they were 60 years old, and I couldn't have jumped around like that all night long. That's a great. Did they practice a lot?
Yeah, well, what they do before a tour is they go to some remote area and they rehearse for a month straight, at least a month.
But they have to work their asses off.
They really do. And they try to learn like 100 songs and then whittle it down to like 40, and then they whittle it down to like 20, 25 that they'll actually play.
He jumps all over the stage all night for like as long as if you tried to do it by yourself, you couldn't do it, right?
Yeah, it's really amazing. Does
he exercise or do anything?
Oh, yeah. He's got his own personal trainer, and every morning, he's going out for a jog in the neighborhood there, or inside the hotel or around the hotel, yeah.
Do they like Sting?
Boy, I don't know.
You ever hear him mention Sting?
I have not heard them mention Sting.
I love Sting as a musician, but I hear he can be a real prick,
Yeah.
As a person, he and that wife of his.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just want to know. All right. Hey, Bill, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Jay.
BillGerman.com, under their thumb, how a nice boy from Brooklyn got mixed up with the Rolling Stones and lived to tell about it. And so now you're completely out of their lives. and you're writing the book, are you going to start hanging with Limp Bizkit now? Is there a group you're going to...
No, I mean, really, nobody can top the Stones.
I know, but you need to start hanging with another...
Well, I started as a teenager. It was a teenage obsession. In addition to wanting to be a journalist, I didn't think it would go for 17 years. It did, and now I'm looking back at it, you know, all the pluses and the minuses.
Okay.
And it's all there in the book.
And then what disc jockey would you meet back then? Who was the big DJ in
Well, here in New York, it was anybody from, like, Dave Herman and Vince Gelsa and Scott Muni. They
make a movie out of this.
And
let me
Griffin.
play one of the DJs.
You got it.
I remember when I was first getting in radio, I bet you did this too, Sean. You had to hang around a radio station. You had to just like, and these kind of, well, I guess we were impressed with them, but that was a part of getting in and I hated hanging around.
Me too. I hated that too. You always had to brown nose with these guys and go to their shows, even though you might hate their music, but you had to, and hang out backstage with them and all that crap.
The jocks or the groups?
No, the groups.
Oh yeah. Well, the record companies, because I was a program director and a music director, and of course I know nothing about music, which was perfect. So, they would bring groups to town, and the famous one was, of course, they brought Kiss to town to Charlotte. And it was at the place called the Bandbox, and the friggin' ceiling was about like this, like 8 feet high, right? And I thought they were awful, completely awful with the blood coming out of the guy's mouth and all that stuff, Now, and I couldn't figure out a way to make any money. See this guy here? If I was like 6 months and couldn't make any money, I'm gone. Even when I was young, I'm out of here. I had to make, money. Money. And being a disc jockey, the biggest group of losers in the world were disc jockeys in the small towns. Here's what's sad. I don't know one guy from anybody I started with. Not one. I couldn't, maybe they went off to be sales managers or salesmen or something. I don't, every now and again I'll meet a guy that I worked with that I wasn't nice to and he became like a rich guy. But the guys that became rich were guys I didn't want to hang with anyway. Money, buddy. A little newsletter for $7 a year. What are you, nuts? Garrett, you ought to make a newsletter of this show. Behind the scenes. What's going on here? Something or other. All right. A little newsletter. I bet you $7 a year you might be able to sell one. How can you be Jewish and your last name is German? Wouldn't you change your name? Nick Nazi. Phil German. Unbelievable. We both know Keith Richards spit. Think about that. What are the odds? It's only the Jay Thomas Show that has stuff like that.
Jay Thomas, the afternoon drive show. Jay Thomas. Indy. Sirius XM 104 and on the Sirius XM app for smartphones.
It's the Jay Thomas Best of Regurgitation. They still live in Woodstock, New York, Orleans, right? Right. Isn't one of them a state something, a representative or something?
Sounds right.
He has the name of it's John Hall, isn't it? We had him on here one time.
Hall & Oates.
No, he wasn't Hall & Oates. He was in Orleans.
Orleans,
right.
One of my favorite groups.
Still live in Woodstock. Yeah. Because I lived in Woodstock, that's why I say that. The man who drank snake venom and wrote a book called Travel Within, The 7 Steps to Wisdom and Inner Peace, coming up in a few minutes. Of course, as soon as I hear you drank snake venom, I got to have you in the studio to talk to us. Chris of Delaware loves Asian women. If you just joined us, Kevin Meaney is here. And I said the thing about Asian women that they're nice people, I'm sure, but I'm used to them on their hands and knees doing my feet. So that's the only image I have of them. Yeah. But it's the flat butts that I don't like. Chris, you still with us? You're okay with us?
I'm here. I'll start with first. You have the Chinese,
right,
which Americans think that any Asian in America is Chinese.
No, they don't. They do not. That is so wrong. Yeah, I can't believe that you're saying that.
Well, let me just say this. Let me start with Chinese. Chinese women usually have mismatched clothing. That's the number one way you could tell they're Chinese. Mm-hmm. Number two, you have the South Korean woman who's they're all gorgeous, but South Korean women tend to be the more beautiful Asian woman in America. they tend to look, in the Korean War, the military men called them corks because they were the big heads with the small legs, so they were shaped like a cork. I happen to think the South Korean woman is the most sophisticated and most beautiful. And I've been to all these Asian countries, by the way, so I know what I'm talking about.
By the way, any of the statements said on the Jay Thomas Show have nothing to do with Sirius XM and or the people that run this show.
Yeah. This is owned by a Chinese consortium.
Let me get you on.
Number three,
the South Korean woman tends to dress more conservatively. They make much more money than the Chinese woman does.
And their size head is
better clothing.
How big is their head?
I just said that the South Korean woman are the cork. Yeah.
How about their vaginas? Are they horizontal, their vaginas?
The Japanese
I was told that when I was a kid.
Would you let him finish?
I was told that when I was a kid, that Asian women, their vaginas are horizontal.
That's terrible.
What about what would you, Asian, how about an Asian guy's penis would go left to right also?
I'm just saying that's what I was told and that was something that always stuck with me.
Does an Asian guy's penis look like a hammerhead shark to you? Comes out to the top and then spreads out.
I've never seen an Asian. Well, actually,
would you let him finish?
Yes, go please.
Go ahead.
Okay, the Japanese woman, she has the dyed hair, usually a touch of green in it, orange in it, something like that. Will wear earrings, maybe a lip ring, something like that.
A lip ring.
And dress funky, like plaids and skirts and things like that.
Like Cyndi Lauper.
Knee socks, exactly. Yeah, exactly, right. And the Filipino woman, she has the look all of her own. Of course, her hair is a little more coarse. The nose is a little more flat and slim shoulders. However, your Vietnamese woman is the smallest and most petite of all. She has barely any shoulders.
Hardly any. She had shoulder replacement surgery.
And the smallest waist size.
Would you let him finish, please?
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is scientific, and you're trying to make a joke out of it.
Sorry, Chris, you go right ahead.
All this man does is look at Asian women. He has all this information, and you're all just, what are you doing?
You ever hear that song that's on one of the Monty Pythons? I like Chinese. I like Chinese.
Let's make sure the guy that drank the snake venom isn't listening to the show.
Very small, and they come up to your knees. Bum, bum, bum. I like Chinese.
Now, Chris,
let me finish. I live on the East Coast.
Yes.
So, but I used to live out west where you are, and when I was in Santa Monica, I used to date a woman who was from Burma. Now, it's Myanmar now.
Right.
In Santa Monica. Yeah, you're from that area.
Yes, I'm in that area. What are Burmese women like?
Burmese are absolutely beautiful women, most of them.
Yeah.
And
does their breath smell like burning village a lot?
Yeah.
Every time you see a picture of Burma, there's a village on fire.
Now back then, but when I dated this girl that was Burma, we were both going to film school at USC.
What kind of films do you do now? They're mostly with Asian women?
Wait a second. You were going to give your opinion. Do you have your list also of how you could tell the various Asian?
I do.
Chris, hold on right there, because we have the guy that drank snake venom ready to come out.
The Chinese woman, she has her shoulders are broad.
Right.
And her eyes are more round than the Korean. And the nose is not quite as flat as...
Well, there's not so many bombs going off in Japan anymore. Yeah. That's why they're not squinting as much.
Yes.
But in Korea now with the bombs...
Now, the Japanese woman, she's more petite than the Burmese woman. And she has the rounder buttocks.
Right.
Yeah, and the hair... And all the Asian women that I know have not a lot of hair on their body.
Would you say that, Chris? They're kind of a hairless group of individuals?
Absolutely. But most Asians have far less hair than Europeans would, of course.
Well,
and,
that's what I
like
noticed.
that also.
You know what, Sean? We better book Chris next week when we have the barbecue guy back on, because I could listen to you talk about Asian women. And
do gay guys have an Asian fetish?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that?
No, I
you know, Jeffrey Dahmer loved
Asian men.
He ate them, literally.
Yeah, ate them, yeah.
Ate them up, had sex with them and ate them.
And worked at Ambrosia Chocolate, you know, and and they tore down that company. There's no more Ambrosia Chocolate, so if anybody has any Ambrosia Chocolate out there, please call me.
He worked at a chocolate company?
Yeah, Ambrosia.
I wonder if that chocolate tasted like Asian boy. Vietnamese boy.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Hairless boy.
Well, Chris, thank you very much. Chris of Delaware for, lining it up for us. Sean Kelly, I think we're going to give Chris of Delaware a J. Thomas Apocalypse t-shirt from jthomas.com. Can we handle that today? So Chris will find out your size, your weight, your I'll
forget it.
I wasn't going to say it and make him think I'm giving her a shirt away, you idiot. All right. Now, Sean, the man's out in the lobby. How does he look, the man?
He's fragrant.
He smells good?
He's wearing aftershave.
Oh.
Which means...
Maybe he's wearing snake venom.
Yeah.
All right. Now, he drank this... he's a Hindu of some sort?
It didn't say he was a Hindu.
He's practiced them all, I think. And so, he may be in between religions right now.
Now, he was nearly twice killed during the Iran-Iraq war.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what nationality is this fellow?
We're not sure. Jamshid Hosseini sounds...
Alex Trebek would learn the names before the show.
No, he never messes anything up, you know. When I was on Jeopardy as a question, he didn't say Kevin Meaney. Mm-hmm. He knew Kevin Meaney, you know.
Well, he doesn't like me, and I don't like him.
Well, you have a lot of problems.
We don't get along. I sure do.
Yeah. I mean, Robin Williams...
I couldn't answer any of the questions, and he said something. I said, well, you got the cards in front of you, man. I don't think you're that smart either. Anybody could know the answers with the cards.
Yeah, and he didn't think that was funny.
And my button didn't work properly.
Yeah.
You have to wait for the light. Well, yeah, it's true. You got to wait for the light to go a certain way. Yeah. I knew all the answers, and I would hit the button, and the damn thing wouldn't register me in. I get locked out.
Yeah.
Because the light... Were you on there, Garrett?
I've read about the Jeopardy button. There is a trick to it.
Absolutely, there's a trick. That, of course, God rest his soul, Jerry Orbach knew the trick because he and his wife played it at home all the time.
They had their own button?
All the time.
Did you have the guy on that got Jerry Orbach's eyes? You should have him on.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, he donated his eyes.
Wow.
So you should have that guy on the air.
Jerry Orbach was, of course,
great actor, great Broadway actor.
Nice guy, singer, dancer, and was, of course, famous for Law and Order.
Yeah,
right?
And had beautiful eyes. And,
right.
His eyes were donated. And I think that we should find that person. There should be a musical written, Jerry Orbach's Eyes.
Because he was in the Fantastics.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be a great guest to have on.
After I started losing on Celebrity Jeopardy.
I have Jerry Orbach's eyes. Hello.
I got very bitter. There was a woman on there from MTV at one time was a political kind of person.
Tabitha Soren.
She was on there. Is she still on MTV?
No.
Okay. Is she still alive, Tabitha Soren?
I guess so, but she probably got too old.
She was kind of famous. It was me. It was Jerry Orbach, and there was one other person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was losing,
you knew the answers, but you were losing because of your button.
And I continued to bitch, even on the air, knowing they couldn't cut it out. So I turned to her and I said, you know what? I don't care how many points I score, just so I beat you. And she got upset at that, right?
Yeah.
So Jerry Orbach wins, but he wins knowing every liquor in the world. I mean, he knew every booze there was to know.
Yeah.
And he wins. And so they come back to me, and I said, well, I wouldn't...
Do they have a cigarette category also?
I said, I wouldn't be so happy if I knew every booze in the world. I'd be kind of embarrassed at that.
Yeah.
So then we come back for
Was he upset with that comment, Jerry? Or you got along with Jerry?
He wanted to win.
Yeah.
Wanted to win. And I was doing it for Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm. And those poor kids,
my kids were in the hospital at the time.
They got nothing, your kids?
Nothing. So we introduced my friend from Children's Hospital, and I win nothing. You know how embarrassing that is?
Yeah, that's very embarrassing.
We gave him like $800.
They were crying.
It was awful.
They go with the camera to the hospital?
Did it all. Jay, where's your $800 going to go? That's what they said to me. And then he won like 20 grand.
Oh, good for
him. Oh, yeah, and he gave it to like an animal shelter. It was weird.
Yeah.
You know.
But then when he died, he gave his eyes away.
All right. You keep bringing that up like it's a big deal.
That's a great gift.
You think when the guy looks out, he thinks he's seeing the cast of
I'm sure he's on Broadway.
Hey, it's the Jay Thomas Show. Our good friend Kevin Meaney is here.
I was talking to my boyfriend the other day, and I said, during Fleet Week, and I said,
that sickens me when I hear that.
Okay, but I was.
You know why I said that? For people out there that it's sickened.
Good for you. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Right.
Lamb of God, take away the sins of the world. Lamb of God. Well, anyway, I was saying, I always wanted to go into the armed services,
Mm-hmm.
And I said I always wanted to be in the Navy because I liked the outfits, but I didn't like the sailor cap. I liked the Captain Binghamton hat, I would have had to be a
wife had no idea you were gay the whole time you were married.
No. Because I was always cooking and cleaning and decorating. And
your wife had no idea.
No. And I would come, every night I would come back to the house and I'd say, I would just be easy with it. Hi, honey, I'm home. Oh. Hi, honey, I'm home.
It's so obvious to me that you're gay from the first moment I met you.
No, it wasn't. Because you always thought I was just a regular guy. That's all.
Well, you talked differently back then.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I didn't. How dare you?
So Fleet Week is a big week for you to look at men?
No. I was in Atlantic City last week.
How was that?
I was at the Borgata.
And you had good crowds?
Yeah, we had great crowds. Sold over 700 tickets each night.
Yeah, you see, you wouldn't want to be with me at the...
No, I do want to be with you.
No, it's a different level of
No, it's
whatever.
not.
Could I perform with you at the...
Absolutely.
I could go there and perform with
Yes.
you? Do you curse? You're allowed to curse at those places?
Sure.
No.
Yes.
Would my act go over there in Atlantic City, Sean? Huh? Because I'd talk about my children. One's a suicidal, one wants to kill everybody at school with a gun. Would that go over?
Yes.
Yeah, just don't use the clothes hanger joke.
We have sent Shuli home. All kidding aside, I mean, the economy has really affected this guy and the rent and the whole thing. And, I don't know.
I don't know the whole story. We don't hear the whole thing.
Right.
But obviously there's a lot going on there.
And, I know the Stern Show loves all this private stuff. I've always had trouble, and I know people say, oh, you should do this, talking about people's troubles and all that. But apparently the rent is due or something, and he had to go pay the rent and all of that stuff,
Yeah, but like Garrett was saying, if he's paying the rent now, the rent's due again in like 4 days or something, right?
Yeah, and the girl lost her job and all that.
Yeah.
First thing I'd do is get rid of that girlfriend.
Yep.
I mean, I would tell her to move with her parents.
Yep.
I'd move in with a buddy.
Yep.
Or put her in the corner.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
She's sweet. She'd make a lot of money.
Now, were you telling me the girlfriend is old school? She cooks and everything else?
Yeah, off air. Secretly. Told you. Yep.
No, that was a compliment.
I think you brought up the Shuli when I was there.
No. No, it's a compliment.
That's nice.
It is.
Sweet.
I didn't know how he would take it. That's why.
No, it was. No. What you meant was that she made the dinner and then she sat in the chair in the kitchen and watched the menu.
Us, yeah.
Like her last name was Buzzafuzio, like that. No. My wife is kind of old school if she's in a good mood. She's in a bad mood, then she goes in and watches Clean House, and then I cook, but that's all. So, yeah, it's sad because it's difficult to deal with, and, do I call up Howard and go, give the guy more money or whatever? I don't know, you don't know what to say. I mean, I would never come in here and say I had money troubles or what, because when I come to work, I'd like to forget everything that's really happening,
True.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's part and parcel of being over there at the Howard Stern show. They all talk about their crap. I'm not interested in sharing a lot of personal crap with you guys. If I was having trouble with my wife or something, it would have to be like it was going to be in the paper soon. I don't get people who, when they have trouble, write a friggin' book. I mean, I've said this before. My wife had cancer. It was horrible. She got over it. And people would say, you're going to write a book. We went on one TV show one time, and my wife said, I'll never do that again. Then, when my career was not going well, one of these companies said, well, why don't we come in and we'll do a reality show about you being out of work and you're a realtor. I went, how embarrassing. How embarrassing. I said, I'd rather go broke. I'd rather absolutely go broke than have to walk down the street and everybody knows my business, But people love these reality shows, The weird thing is, has it helped any actor get a job? Any out-of-work actor that you can think of? The Coreys, the two Coreys?
Yeah, did help.
Nothing!
The Osbournes made them kind of popular.
The daughter's still fat.
Still fat.
Yeah, but they're rich anyway. Didn't they have money anyway?
Yeah.
And he got a commercial.
That's true.
And she was always a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Full House when you were a kid?
I did.
Did you like Jodie Sweetin? She played, Stephanie, I guess.
Yeah, the next door neighbor.
Now, she's always been into drugs, right?
I'm not sure.
That's what they said.
I guess so.
She went on the road and pretended that she was off the drugs.
Okay.
And now she's writing a book to expose herself for pretending that she wasn't drinking and off the drugs. It's called Unsweetened. So she already had a career being off the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That started to fade. That's I was lying the whole time. It's unbelievable to me. Has she ever acted again?
You would think she could live off the Full House.
No.
No,
that's a fallacy, all of that stuff. Unless you owned a piece of the show, you get some money. And they made money, but they spent it. How many seasons was it on?
I want to say 10. The girls were just born, the Olsen twins. And then by the end, they were,
10 years it was on?
Almost teenagers, yeah.
Oh, she should have made plenty of money.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson went through $400 million. That seems impossible.
Yeah. People didn't just steal it from him?
No, he would drive like a Rolls Royce, and it would crash or something, and he would get out and leave it. Idiot. I feel badly for him that his child passed away and all that. But God forbid, how do you go through That's all they keep saying in the paper. He went through $400,000. $400 million. I went through $400,000. This is the Jay Thomas Show.
Jay Thomas.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
Afternoons. The Jay Thomas Show.
Are you kidding? We were the hot new thing.
Jay Thomas.
Afternoons. Indy. Sirius XM 104.
How do you know when somebody is desperate to get a show on the air? When they call the Jay Thomas Show. Just sitting here minding my own business. Bob Saget called us. Is Bob Saget going to call us?
Yes, he is.
What's he want to talk about?
Apparently there's been a time change or a date change or something with
in his television show?
Television show.
Well, once, of course, we announced it here. He came on to talk about the show, right?
Yeah, well, he just likes doing your show, Jay.
Well, no, he's welcome to come on, surviving suburbia, and I know how hard it is to get these. Is he there? Bob there? Bob, hey, Bob Saget's in the Jay Thomas Show. Hi, Bob, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We just had the Rolling Stones in here a few moments ago. They just left.
That's true?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
I a couple months ago.
Yeah. So now what's going on with the show? Did you the show's on the air, right?
The show's on the air. You told me bring the sitcom back. I'm working on it as hard as a man can.
I called my agent like that. You said I could be on it?
You can be if we get picked up.
Like that, just like that.
Literally like that. I've been literally walking around with you what am I like? I'm like in No Country for Old Men. I'm like Javier Bardem walking down the street with an air gun.
You ought to do that to people that aren't giving you the right answers.
Just take the air gun from No Country for Old Men, like Javier Bardem.
I wouldn't mention my name as somebody you're thinking of, having on the show. I don't think I'm going to help the cause any, but I know that you have me in your heart.
You're in my heart. heart because you've given me a mantra, bring the sitcom back.
And my wife said to me, you see, and you were never that nice to Bob Saget. She said that when I got home. You see?
Nice. You know what? I'll take marching orders over kindness.
So what's the deal? Have they decided to pick it up?
We go back on tonight. They had us on after Dancing with the Stars for a few.
Yeah.
Then they decided they had to get their full 2 hours out of their Dancing with the Stars because legs get puffy on that with that much weight on them.
Have you done that show yet?
I sat there in the audience. Tom Bergeron said, Bob is here to show his next show is on.
Oh, boy.
I did that. You know how you love doing that.
Yeah. That's
and then they put on the show. We did an okay rating. Wasn't amazing. Wasn't bad. But good. More viewers than anything else. But it was on after that thing, which is a killer thing. Then
why didn't you have dancing so when they tuned in, they just thought it was more dancing?
Because when you get to me, compared to dancing, you're flatline.
Have you been on Dancing with the Stars? Have you done the show itself? Have you danced?
I did no. I did a show as they eased it into us after Dancing with the Stars. My wife, Cynthia Stevenson, on the show said, I want to dance with you. And I said, I don't dance. This is right without a commercial, right into it. And she twirled around me, and then I accidentally dropped her when I dipped her. And that seemed funny.
Anything to just get... So now, what night are you on?
Later.
You're on tonight. Tonight is when...
Tonight with the original pilot. They did not run the original pilot before because maybe it was too misogynistic for the time spot. And now, hopefully, it's just right in there.
Here's what time are we on tonight? I mean, you're on tonight.
I'm on at 9.
See, I've already joined the cast. I'm already joining the cast.
You're on. Everybody's on.
I am going to hand in my notice after the show. Even though I know you haven't promised me anything, I'm going to walk right in. As soon as I can find out who runs this place, I'm going to walk right in and say, that's it. All right.
You're making a Ralph Crandon move. That's it. I'm never going to be a bus driver again.
That's right.
We're going, Alice. We're going to the top.
Surviving Suburbia, Bob Saget tonight at what time?
9:30, 8:30 Central.
9:30, 8:30
And the episode, tell me if this has ever happened to you.
Sure.
I meet a neighbor, Cynthia Stevens is my wife. We go over to meet the neighbor, who's played by Dan Cortese. Dan owns strip clubs and coin-operated laundromats in character. He's got a daughter who's 17 and very attractive, in a very small outfit. I'm standing with my wife, so I choose to not look at her.
Of course not.
I look around her. I look when she speaks. She puts her arm on me. I look at Dan. So my wife, the girl walks away. My wife says to me, you know, when a man your age has to work that hard at not looking at a girl that looks like that, then he's kind of gross or something like that. And that's the linchpin of that episode. That is kind of the floating problem.
Now, do you hire a young guy with a huge package to come in and see if your wife looks at it?
I did that, and we've been divorced for 12 years.
No, but I mean, you bring a young. This is a good episode. You bring a young guy in with a huge package.
Yeah.
You think ABC'd have trouble with that show where you close ups?
They will because
on the huge.
Well, their logo has water dripping off of it, so I don't think you want to add to that. Right now it's a very refreshing logo. And then we go for 6 more weeks. We did a gun show, which is our writer Kevin Abbott is a Roseanne writer, and it's going to hopefully have some issues that.
Now I have a gunsmith. My son, my middle son, my 18-year-old is a real live gunsmith.
Right.
And he loves guns and everything else.
Right.
And every time I hear a siren, I think he's in a bell tower, shooting people with a Kalashnikov.
Yeah, it makes you worry.
Yeah, yelling, love me. But here's the thing. Is it a show that says guns are bad?
It says that guns there's a reason for them. They are dangerous. Kids shouldn't be around kids. But some people want them to protect themselves. The real theme, I think, of that particular episode is if you're going to keep it in the lockbox, know the combination.
That's the whole... So you have a gun to protect your family?
If you can protect your family.
Does anybody break in and you can't open the box?
Keep bullets in the same area code.
By the way, by the time I got the bullets in my gun, got the gun out of the closet, found the bullets, the guy would have killed me twice, raped my wife, and been gone by the time I have a gun.
What's your address?
Yeah, all right. So you got a gun show, you got I know, and you're working your ass off promoting it. It's really difficult. And at the same time, is it piss you off that cartoons and reality shows can do rougher stuff than they're going to allow you ever to do on a sitcom?
Yes.
Okay.
In a family domestic sitcom. In a 4-camera world, definitely. If it was single camera, they could put in these things, a little tongue-in-cheek, that are more edgy, I guess.
Right.
But we're doing it the old school way, which is the sitcom way, which is, you got a live audience, you've got a proscenium, and you're trying to do the best you can and make it real at the same time.
Would you ever have a scene where you're just finishing from behind your wife and the kids come in?
Well, we did a whole show. The last one that aired was we had 14 days. We had 40 days we had to have sex to revitalize our marriage. I could only make it for 14 days. And she ended up meeting me in a hotel room, and all I wanted was a cheeseburger and a football game.
Yeah. Listen, that's actually true. I mean, we've had people on the show that tried that, and so that's not so far-fetched. So that's realistic. Okay.
No, there's nothing so far where we are a touchy-feely couple. There is a good sexual chemistry between the Patterson husband and wife.
Now, how do you do that? Now, I've been on these shows, and I never really was in bed with the women that played my girlfriend. Did I have a wife? Bess Armstrong was a wife. She was pregnant through the whole show. When you're in bed and you're kissing this actress that you don't know, I mean, how does that work? I mean, how do you stop from
getting excited?
Yeah.
What I do, actually, is I have them put the boom microphone right in the middle of the bed. Mm-hmm. And then I say that's me.
Mm-hmm. Let her dream about that. Is she married in real life?
So one more time?
Is she married in real life?
Yes, she is.
And you're married? You're married now, too?
Yeah, I am about as divorced as a guy can be.
Oh, you're very divorced. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah,
right. So it's good. And I got my 3 daughters take up all of my time, and they're pretty much my hall monitors.
Okay. All right. Are you dating anybody? We're going to see you in a magazine with anybody?
No, that would be funny, wouldn't it? I have figured out, I haven't been drinking as much lately because I'm trying to get in health, I'm just kind of being stupid.
No, don't stop the drinking. You know what? That's pissing me.
I'm trying to bring the sitcom back. If it gets back, then I'm not going to stop drinking.
No, because you work, till 9 o'clock.
There's 2 ways to look at drunk driving if you're a celebrity kind of person or whatever the hell they call us if you're known and an actor.
Yeah.
So there's the photo, the Nick Nolte photo, which means when they took it, you look like Chris Lloyd in Back to the Future. So your hair is sticking straight out. Then there's the quick, I got to work quick, the Mel Gibson moment where you pour Avion all over your hands, then rub it in your hair so it looks like it's matted down, but then your face is soaking wet. So I think the key to driving around in L.A. in my life, for me, would be to keep my hair very short and maybe have some kind of a mousse available.
If you're caught drunk driving, you
want that picture's going to travel.
Yeah, my agent actually would like me to get caught drunk driving. Just he thinks that would be good to get me back in the papers, or Well,
you're coming on. If I'm blessed, and all I need is a rating, and that these days is not easy to come by. You know that.
No, and my wife, she'll say it again today. You see, he hasn't forgotten you.
No, I really haven't. So she listens to every show?
No, not every show. Just the ones that you're on, apparently.
Well, I remember. That's complimentary.
Yeah.
Does she have a sister?
She does. You don't want to? No. I'm going to save you.
It was Robert Wall's joke was always, I like your wife. Does she have a sister?
I'm going to save you, okay?
Okay.
Because you would really like her, and it would be so bad after that. It would be bad.
Well, let's talk about this next time.
Could I beg for a gig any more than I just begged? It's the Jay Thomas Show.
His tongue is gonna get you, gonna twerk you in the head. Or did you look into the mirror before you did your rock-set bread? How in the world did you see your ass is so freaking droopy? Who in the hell do you think you are? A superstar or a whore at the bar? Yeah, we all said it's wrong when you twerk to that Robin Thicke song. Yeah, we all said it's wrong, but at least you were
Jay Thomas Show. For idiots, by idiots. Non-stop idiot action. The Jay Thomas Show. He's the afternoon guy. On Indy. Sirius XM 104. And on the Sirius XM app for smartphones. Indy.
So you're living in Hollywood, you have these famous roommates, and you're a writer and an actor, and it's just not going well. What do? Well, you open a barbecue joint outside of Cincinnati, and then you get in trouble because of an inflatable doll, okay? It's the Jay Thomas Show. For those of you in New York City, I guess David, is it Hinckley writes for the Daily News?
Yeah, that's right.
No, not David Hinckley. He was the one who tried to kill President Reagan.
Same guy. Writes for the Daily News.
David Hinckley? John Hinckley. John Hinckley.
But I think David's the writer in the newspaper.
The brother, right, yeah.
Wrote a fabulous article about the people that put down satellite radio and, economics and all this stuff. And he said if you listen to it, he goes, 18.5 million people can't be wrong. It's unbelievable. It was just a great, a little article, Yeah. But when you think about radio, do you listen to the radio when you drive around?
I listen to the radio all the time.
Isn't this unbelievable to come in here?
You can't go, but if you switch back from, AM, FM radio to satellite radio, it's like night and day. You go, I can't believe the sound on AM radio, and then you go to
FM is better, and then there's this.
And this is like the best.
And then you can, you have crazy shows, or you have all the music. You got people, in the front playing music live. You've got
the gay radio.
They got it all.
Out
Catholic
radio.
Howard Stern. You got the Jay Thomas Show. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Martha Stewart. I love her on the radio. Oprah.
Now, what have you? Has she cooked for you? Have you listened to her? And
I've listened to her.
Made a dish that she's talked about in the air.
I made a broccoli cheese strata.
Really?
At, her recipe. And it was wonderful. It was very simple. Stale bread.
What is this strata?
What is strata? It's you put stale bread on your pan, and then you put your broccoli. You cook broccoli, not
You really
overcooked.
did hear this.
And then you have, some cheese, some grated cheese, and you put that over the
stale bread.
No, over the stale bread and the broccoli.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put another layer of bread over, and then you use an egg wash. And you bake it for 45 minutes, and it comes out, and you say, broccoli cheese strata. Delicious. It's kind of like a quiche.
I like that I asked you a question, and you had a recipe. That's unbelievable.
Well, I would always cook. I made my daughter's baby food, for crying out loud.
Hold it. Your wife had no idea you were gay.
Yeah, I said, I'm not using that baby food. I'm going to make my own.
Ken Tessel, Kenny, the Jay Thomas Show with Kevin Meaney. How are you, Ken?
Good, guys. How are you?
Are you on a battleship right now? You sound like we're talking to you from, what's all that? Where are you right now?
I'm in my store. It's like a little hot box with ovens going and steam tables, so it's... I'm here cooking away. I just took an apple crisp out of the oven. I'm just making some more sauce.
I love this guy.
What you do when you're sort of like a small operation. You're always working.
Now, you were a Hollywood actor and scriptwriter. Did you ever meet Kevin Meaney or Jay Thomas when you were acting and scriptwriting in Hollywood?
Well, I think I met Jay a few times, actually. I'm good friends with Jerry Levine. He's an actor and a director.
I know Jerry very well, yeah. His wife is the head of, CBS or something.
CBS, and Nina. Yeah, Nina and Jerry and I were roommates. We took care of, actually, Sam Fuller's, the movie director's home, when we first moved to L.A.
Yeah, and then Jerry directed me, and I worked for Nina and all that. Oh, so I guess we have met.
Yeah, I think we've met on a few occasions, actually.
And so it just wasn't working out for you, and you moved back to Reading, Ohio.
Actually, it's in Cincinnati, where I'm from, and I grew up at. And Reading is like a small little city within the city of Cincinnati.
And what's the name of your place?
It's called KT's Barbecue and Deli.
KT's Barbecue and Deli. And before we get to the reason why you're here, was it difficult for you to say, you know, screw it, this is not working out for me in Hollywood, I'm moving back to Reading?
It was at first, because I was in L.A. for over 25 years, so it was a long time in coming. I just sort of, you know, in the entertainment business, there's a game to play. And unless you're adept or good at playing the game, you don't really work. And I wound up getting a bad reputation with me and my writing partner because most of the people said, you know, he's a great writer, but he doesn't work well with others.
You were trouble, you were conceited, you were yelling a lot, you were trouble.
No, not at all. It's just that I just didn't like 12 producers telling me how to write, you know, a little story when they're all giving you notes and stuff. It's, you know, it's sort of writing by committee nowadays when you're writing a sitcom.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Unless you're David Kelly or somebody else that writes the hour for themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Well, they had to live through that before they got to be David Kelly or, you know, even when Seinfeld first started, you know, Larry David, they were, you know, if you look at those that first year, it's nothing like the next, you know, year or two after that. I mean, it's kind of, we've all been through that, you know, Kevin.
Right, I just wasn't good at playing the game. I don't know what else to say. And so I found other venues, and one of my venues was cooking. I became a chef for certain celebrities. I was Roseanne's private chef, and then after Roseanne, I wound up working for Jeannie Martin, who was married to Dean.
What's the biggest piece of meat you ever saw Roseanne put in her mouth? Can you?
Nah, I can't talk. I have a confidentiality agreement.
No, what I mean is, was it a rib? Was it a roast?
No, it had to be a rib.
A rib?
Yeah.
What did she like?
I just poked her the other day.
Roseanne was great. Let me tell you, Roseanne was the best boss I ever had. She really was a great
And Roseanne's always been nice to me. Are you friends with Roseanne too?
Yes, I just, she Facebooked me the other day. And I poked her.
I loved Roseanne. It was a great experience. I had a great time. She was a great person. But then when I got to cook for Jeannie Martin, I got to cook for all of old Hollywood, who I really have a great deal of respect for.
All the old
Hollywood.
Now, what year was this, Kenny?
I would say I cooked for Jeannie Martin from 2000 to 2004, 2005, right before I left.
So Dean had already been passed.
Dean had already passed away, but I used to see Dean a lot because he used to eat at La Familia. It was an Italian restaurant I think it was on Cannon.
Yes.
In Beverly Hills.
Yeah, he would eat there all the time.
He would have dinner there every night. He was very, very open about talking to people and meeting people. So I actually knew him first before I actually started working for his ex, for Jeannie. But my favorite, I guess, celebrity that I got to know working for Jeannie was Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart is the most nicest guy in the world. Out of them all, he's tops.
Did you sign a confidentiality agreement with him?
What's the biggest piece of meat you ever saw Bob Newhart put in his mouth?
Bob Newhart, at one of Jeannie's Christmas parties, was eating a piece of prime sirloin, and I guess he cut himself too big, and he wound up choking on it. Jeannie's son-in-law actually had to do, he's an ex-cop, had to do the Heimlich maneuver on Bob Newhart.
Yeah. Thank God, Kenny Kessel, we finally got one out of you. Stay where you are. Kenny, who is just has a plethora of barbecue star stories from Hollywood. That's not why he's with us from KT's outside of Cincinnati in Reading, Ohio.
No.
There's something happening there that needs to be stopped. And someone just emailed me that the biggest piece of meat was Harvey Korman that he ever put in his mouth. Excuse me.
What's the biggest piece of meat that Bob Newhart have in his mouth?
I don't know what that means. But it comes just from Matia to Hello Jay. Yeah. Thank you. Stay where you are. We'll come back. We're going to try and save Kenny Tessel's place, a tremendous hassle that's going on. As you like to know, I like to fight government on the grassroots, Kenny. So when we come back, we'll let you tell the story of what they're trying to do to you.
It's outrageous. Stay
where you are. More questions about the largest piece of meat ever in your mouth on the Jay Thomas Show.
Jay Thomas Show. Every day something new, something bizarre. For you, for now. The Afternoon Drive Show.
On Indy. Sirius XM 104.
And on the Sirius XM app for smartphones.
Makes you wonder how big a piece of meat you can get in your mouth, doesn't it? That's what this show is about. It's thought-provoking, okay? The man with the inflatable doll, Barbecue. Kevin Meaney, where are you appearing next? You just had an unbelievable sold-out shows there.
At the Borgata. I'll be at, sometime in June, I'll be at Governor's in Long Island.
Governor's in Long Island?
Levittown, Long Island. You know, that sleepy little town?
Right.
After the war, all the men came back and...
They stayed in that area. With the GI Bill.
Yeah, the GI Bill. That helped them.
These are the children of the GIs that you'll be
I'll be working, for the troops.
Kenny Tessel is here. Kenny owns TK's barbecue restaurant. KT's, I'm sorry. KT's barbecue restaurant.
KD Lang's.
He wrote CSI, his star, so he decided to quit.
Yeah.
What's the biggest piece of meat you ever saw in Tom Arnold's pants?
I was after Tom Arnold. That was after Tom Arnold.
That was after Tom Arnold. Now, I happen to know Roseanne and Tom very well.
I know them too, and I actually performed at Roseanne's daughter's or son's bar mitzvah.
Jake's?
I did Tom's wedding, on that Best Damn Sports show. I did his whatever that was before he married.
And I was on
the last woman that left.
I was on the Tom show. I was on.
Yeah, you're not going to get in trouble with us, Kenny.
Yeah, I've done a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so you go back. You got the barbecue place. You're making money. And so business falls, and you did something that drove this. What did you do? It sounds simple to me, but explain what you did to the people.
Well, my business had been down about 40% in the past year and a half, which is a huge chunk when you're a little takeout place.
Right.
And I had all this. I'm in an area where it's nothing, so it's all served by commuter traffic. There's over 157,000 cars that go within a block of my business off the two freeways.
Right.
And I needed something to get them to stop. So where I get my sandwich boards from and my signage, they had these mannequins, and they're the kind you put in clothing stores, but they had a special one. They were called European-style large bust mannequins.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a large busted blonde mannequin in a blonde wig, and she's 38 double D, 24, 34, something like that, are her measurements.
Booty call.
And I put her on a bikini top and Daisy Dukes, and I stuck her outside my door with a sign.
Mm-hmm. What's her name? Did you give her a name?
I gave her a name. Her name is Barbie, last name Q.
Of course.
So her name's Barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And I invited people to come in and try that.
Are you a married man, Kenny?
No, I'm a single guy. I'm
Interesting.
single.
What's the biggest piece of meat you ever put in barbecue? Just thought I want to keep right on that line. Now, so Kenny, as a writer, Kenny, I'm just going to keep going.
I know.
Now, Kenny, it seems so simple. You're in the town.
The city didn't bother me until it hit national news. So she was actually outside, and I was getting. My business had increased like 30% every day. There was like 10, 15, 20 new people coming in just because of this mannequin.
Yeah.
So then the ABC affiliate saw it. Came in, wanted to know what the deal was. I told them the story. They put me on the news, CNN, and it went national the next day. And then suddenly the city of Reading took attention, and then they sent the chief of police down.
Oh my God!
And basically, he said to me he said, Kenny, to get me out of your hair, you got to do one thing.
You got to dress this thing up.
Just move the mannequin and the sandwich boards. Now, the sandwich boards have been in the same spot for 4.5 years. Suddenly, they were an illegal spot. So he said, just move them 12 inches closer to your store.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. He says, Kenny, you're good with me. We're fine. He says, now your problem is with the city of Reading. Now, the city of Reading considered her a sign. So they said I needed a permit for her. But I said, okay, I'll buy a permit. They said, well, that doesn't mean you're going to be approved. They've got to figure out, so I had to go before this design review board to get a certificate of appropriateness.
Yeah.
So I brought the whole networks with me when we went to the hearing, and basically this design review board didn't say a word, didn't ask me any questions, no comments, no talk. They didn't want their names mentioned or be brought out. So basically they said, we'll give you a permit, but the permit will have restrictions, meaning you've got to cover her up, meaning you can't have her in a bikini top.
Do they know it's a mannequin?
Yeah, I brought her with me to court. I brought her with me to City Hall.
Do you bring Barbie with you everywhere?
No, she stays in the store, but if they were going to judge her, I wanted her with in front of them.
Yeah.
So
Ken, have you ever slipped the shrimp into Barbie?
No, never slipped the shrimp into the Barbie.
So now where do we stand with Barbie?
Now we had to file a notice of appeal because I didn't agree with the ruling. We got to wait till they have a written ruling. And most likely, they're going to still rule against me because it's like a good old boy network here.
When can we call you back? We only have 20 seconds. When can we call you back and check?
Call me back next week, and we should have more to the story, because what's going to happen, I'm going to have to sue them in federal court.
KT's Barbecue, Reading, Ohio, the #1 barbecue joint on the Jay Thomas Show. Kenny, we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Okay, thanks, Jay. Thanks, Kevin.
There you go. All right, there we go.
Wow.
Saving another small business.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Well, you're listening, of course, to the Jay Thomas Show. It's our best of...
Jay Thomas.
The Jay Thomas Show.
It's the afternoon show. Sirius XM 104. The Jay Thomas Show. Indy. Sirius XM 104.
So you get divorced, and if you're married to this idiot, Danny Bonaducci, you get your own reality show, and you're his ex-wife, but your name's not in the show. The idiot ex-husband's name is still in the show. We had Gretchen Bonaducci on the Jay Thomas Show, and delightful woman. Delightful woman. Even though she believes in, open relationships and all of that. I don't know what's happening.
Affirmative.
This is Gretchen Bonaducci, who'll be on with us. She's ready to go now. Sure. Hey, Gretchen, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. Let's listen to this. Say hi real fast, Gretchen.
Hey, oh my God, I'm so excited. I haven't heard my song on the radio before.
Turn it up. Turn it up. Here we go.
Still haven't.
Here we go.
Kind of a Pat Benatar. I like this.
Yeah, I think it's more Berlin-y.
It is Berlin-y. You're right. You're correct. Pat Berlinatar.
I love it.
Gretchen Bonaducci.
I like that, heading back toward the 80s fun music.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have an 80s cover band, don't you?
I know.
MySpace.
I know all about it.
.com/Gretchen Bonaducci. And, of course, married to Danny Bonaducci and had that show, Breaking Bonaducci and all that. Now, Gretchen, you and I met maybe one time. I've known Danny since he was 10. And I was a DJ in, Jacksonville, Florida, or whatever, and he came as a little boy and opened the mall and everything else. And then, and I'm sure people know the story, but I've never asked you this. You have one date with this guy, and you marry him the night of the date?
That is correct, yes. I had been in relationships that were just going nowhere, and I decided, what, I don't want that. The next person that I'm with has to marry me.
Wait, what did you just say?
My friend Rodney Lee Conover is here. That's the other voice you're hearing, by the way. Okay.
That's how it was.
You've had bad relationships in your past, and you didn't want that anymore. So you decided to marry a guy.
I know, it's funny. But you know what? I just wanted to be in a relationship with a man that I was married to if I was going to do those sorts of things, and he was willing to do it. And you know what? We made it 17 years. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I just think that defies the odds.
How did it end? Did it end well?
No, it did not end well. You know what, though?
It ended on TV. It ended on television.
Yeah, pretty much, which I didn't really realize at the time that it was capturing the collapse of our marriage on Breaking Bonaducci, because it was not the show we had sold. It was not the show we set out to do. And then everything just fell apart, so I had no idea that we were actually capturing the implosion of our marriage, and that's exactly what was happening. But I think, as you could see, I did more than anyone else would have. I really tried so hard, and eventually I had to pick my kids, and, I couldn't let them continue to live in that kind of situation.
Well, I recently saw Danny around Christmas time at a thing where they invite you and you get to fill up like a bag of goodies,
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't done it in years, so I go to the thing. And by the way, the stuff was total crap. I was sorry I was there. Danny comes in with his so-called new girlfriend, and I'm going to have to tell, It was this fat kindergarten teacher.
Oh, guys, you know what? She is the sweetest girl, and she's so good to my kids.
Well,
and,
of course she's sweet.
You know,
she's fat.
She is. Oh, you guys.
You ever seen a fat woman that wasn't sweet? You ever seen a fat bitch?
I mean,
I have not.
But she's...
I don't run across those girls.
You know what?
If you Google
think...
fat bitch, does Rosie O'Donnell
That's not a good combo.
No, they're usually sweet. They're jolly. They're jolly.
You know what? You guys, don't you have to give it to both of them that he went for someone he loved versus some Hollywood, skank, and she doesn't fold under the pressure because people constantly tell her that about her weight, and I think it's kind of cool that she says, "I don't care what you think."
I think it's cool too, but it's just a kind of a, it's kind of a given.
Gretchen, here's what first of all, you're great looking, and I know you're like 43 years old. You're in terrific shape, and the whole deal. And what I thought was when I saw Danny that he has sunk so low, this is all he can get.
Well, I don't think that's true.
Chaser.
You know what? I really don't. I don't think that's true at all.
Because, I know he's a harmless guy, and I know he's had trouble. He told me a story about his dad here a couple of years ago that was heartbreaking about his relationship with his dad. And then I don't know if he ever told you about that or not. That after it was over, he said the most unusual interview he ever had because he wasn't acting crazy, and I guess his dad, kind of, would you say mentally abused him?
I would say at the very minimum. I mean, he actually, when I was 4 months pregnant with our daughter, attacked Danny in front of me and then got his video camera to film it while he was beating Danny up. So I'm talking this guy was not a very good person.
What was he going to do with the video after he beat Danny?
Wasn't that an episode of The Partridge Family?
Yeah, it was.
I think you got things mixed up, Gretchen.
Yeah.
No. He literally said he was hitting Danny and he said, "Oh my God, I need to get this on video," and went and grabbed the video and taped himself while he hit Danny in the face in front of me while I was 4 months pregnant.
Why didn't Danny knock the crap out of him? Danny's a, big muscle-bound guy.
Honestly, here's my real feeling on that. He had always told me a story about how one time his dad beat his brother so bad that he had no features. And for some reason, Danny admired that story, and I think it was his shot to take it from his dad. Because anyone else would have walked away. Anyone else would have said, "I don't need to put up with this. This is sick," and he didn't. And that is the only thing that I can figure is he felt like now he had a story to match his brother's.
That's so sick. You're lucky to be out of it. You've got the 2 kids, and now you have your own show. And by the way, if you'll go to myspace.com/Gretchen Bonaducci, you'll see all the upcoming gigs like the Key Club in Hollywood, Dragonfly in Hollywood, and you're going to be performing with your cover band, and you got the music out and all. Now,
can I ask Gretchen?
Well, I need to talk to her about her show. I need to talk about her show. Premieres this Saturday. 9 o'clock Eastern Pacific and 8 o'clock Central Time. And the show is called what now?
It's called Reinventing Bonaducci.
You're stuck with that name. Why don't you have Reinventing Gretchen Bonaducci? It sounds like it's about Danny.
How about Danny's with a fat chick now?
Danny's with a fat chick.
Oh, you guys, that's
Gretchen,
so mean.
let me ask you this. After the breakup,
Sure.
did you hook up with a fat, sweet guy?
No, I didn't. I actually hooked up with a very tall, gothy, really cool guy.
Yeah, I got you.
Why isn't your name in the title? I know you're managed by somebody, and the word Bonaducci, it's like Buttafuoco these days. But why wouldn't you put Gretchen Bonaducci in there?
You know what? I really didn't have a lot of say over that.
Really?
And, no, not really over, how we were going to name it. And, obviously.
Have I given you have I made you think about it right now? Are you kind of pissed off it doesn't have Gretchen Bonaducci in there?
No, because you know what? Maybe season 2. Right now I understand the philosophy that a lot of people don't know who I am. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason people tune in, whether they think it's a show about Danny or me, that's what I need right now. I need people to watch. Mm-hmm. And so if there's confusion, I really don't care. They'll see when they turn it on, it's actually about me, although Danny does make an appearance on the show. So,
he's not the executive producer or something crazy, is he?
No. No, I actually asked him as a favor if he would mind helping me out because, he's like a lot of men complaining about paying my alimony. So I said, can you help me help myself not have to take money from you? This would really help me if you would come on the show. And he, was very much manipulative about it. And one day would say, yes, I'll help you. The next day, no, I won't. Yes, I will. I mean, I just kept forwarding the emails going, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. And finally, we were able to get...
Like your first date. I'm sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
You should have his dad on there, too, huh?
Well, his dad passed away, so...
Good. You know what? And I'm going to say this. I say this...
Dig him up and beat the hell out of him.
I said this to Sharon Osbourne. Her dad's crippled, beat the crap out of her. He's in a wheelchair. And I said, you should just slap that old son of a bitch around. I hate when parents are mean to their kids and then the kids take care of them and are sorry they're dead and everything. I'm good that son of a bitch is dead.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm not sad. I feel bad for the rest of the family because they took it hard. But, how can I be upset about someone who tortured Danny, who was learning those behaviors and then turning it around on me, which is why I had to get my kids out, because I did not want that pattern to continue. And, Dr. Phil says kids would rather be from a broken home than in one. And I realized that is true. I got to get my kids out of here.
So let's talk about the show. The boyfriend in the band is the drummer's your boyfriend.
Yes, he is my boyfriend. He's in my group, Uncas Namen, and we do like the Adamant makeup and do the Cure, the Cult, Kids in America. And he's also in another group called Lords of Altamont, which they're pretty big in Europe. They're actually leaving in a couple days to tour Europe for a month.
And the band members tell you not to sleep with the drummer. I mean, is that part of the deal that you should?
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, I didn't want to. I knew him for 6 months. Didn't want to go there with him. I'm like, I don't see you. I'm not talking to you. Because that's the number one rule in a band is you don't get involved with people in your band.
Yeah, that hardly ever happens.
That never happens.
I know.
That Fleetwood Mac wouldn't be alive today.
They didn't pass around those girls in Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
No, I don't think so. But you know what? Sometimes you just fall in love and there's nothing you can do, and that's kind of what happens.
Gretchen, that's all.
It is.
You can't fight that. When you see a skinny drummer with a bunch of tats, you melt.
Exactly.
Is he skinny with long hair and tats?
Tats.
He has short hair, but it's, he gets mistaken for Nikki Sixx a lot. So he's got that kind of black hair.
You just had to fall for that. I couldn't resist.
I don't.
Jay, how about you?
You know what? I don't understand it, and we've talked about it any number of times. Gwyneth Paltrow has the skinny musician boyfriend. It's almost like you would like to be with a woman, but instead you're with a man that's like a woman.
Yeah, it's like lesbian light.
Well, you know what? I was mostly interested in someone that wasn't going to cheat on me and loves my kids, and I found that in this man.
So get a musician.
He is the only musician in the world that would not cheat on me.
Oh, he's going on the road in Europe.
Was Tommy Lee not available? Was he not around to help you out?
Who?
Tommy Lee.
Maybe you could name for us a few musicians that haven't cheated on their spouse.
Danny gives you $20,000 a month. My God, where does he get that money from?
Oh, he doesn't give me quite that much, but, he's doing well. He's got a radio show in,
Jesus Christ.
Should I say or no? Not
yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh,
sure.
Oh, well, he's got a radio show in Philly, and he does, a TV show. He did that wrestling show with Hulk Hogan. He fought Jose Canseco, which I'm sure he made money doing, so he does pretty well.
Did Jose beat the crap out of him?
I'm sorry?
Did Jose beat the crap out of him? I missed
No, it was a draw. I can't believe it was a draw, but it was.
Did Jose really try to hurt him?
I'm thinking no, because I just can't even fathom that he, was able to withstand that kind of a beating from Jose Canseco. So who knows? But you know what? I'm just grateful Danny's doing fine. I expected him to implode without a family to ground him, and that totally hasn't happened. And I'm so happy for him. I wish he could feel that way for me. I know he isn't, but I'm happy for him.
He hit you when you were together. He struck you.
What?
Did he hit you?
No, he was very verbally abusive, and
right.
I'm not going to say when he was on his roid rage that I wasn't scared, but no, physical abuse was really, I would never categorize my marriage as being physically abusive.
When you guys were getting along, and did you ever do roids together, kind of as a romantic thing?
No.
Sometimes couples like it.
No, I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappoint you on that one. No steroids were shared.
Yeah, I'm sure when your drummer boyfriend is over there in Europe with those Ukrainian hookers, I'm sure he'll be able to resist.
Being so judgmental on someone you don't know.
God forbid.
We don't trust men.
because we know how trustworthy they can be.
Well, I was very leery myself, but this man has spectacular character.
Is that what he told you?
I know he does.
Okay.
I absolutely believe.
In one episode, do you get all boozed up and you start talking crap about Danny and the difference in the two guys' penis sizes?
Yeah, what is the difference?
Is that an episode? That's what it says here. Is that one of the episodes?
What we know about is the penis.
You know what? I don't recall if we were comparing Danny, but I'm sure we had some girl talk for sure.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, do you watch other reality shows?
Not a lot because, I do have 2 small children, but sometimes I'll catch something here and there.
Okay. You know what, Gretchen? It sounds like to me that Gretchen Bonaducci's new show is on Fox Reality Channel. It'll premiere this Saturday night, 9 o'clock Western Time, 8 o'clock Central, and it's got to be on 9 o'clock Eastern Time, too, right?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Go to myspace.com/Gretchen Bonaducci, and she's got music out and all. It sounds like you're doing this because you got these 2 kids, and what would you be doing? You'd be living off of Danny, who's like a nut, right? Or you'd have to just get some regular job out there. When you were a little girl, did you want to be in show business? When you married him, was it your entree into the big time? Did you...
No, he didn't even know I sang, and I never said anything to him about it.
Well, you only knew each other one night.
Exactly.
Right.
But I didn't tell him for quite a while. But I've always sang my whole life. I've been in bands.
Mm-hmm.
So as time went on, and when I first married Danny, we had children, and I managed his career, I was very content to do that. I wanted to do those things, so I didn't feel like I was sacrificing. But as my kids got older and I started to realize my time was really limited, I wanted to do things, and especially empower women period, but especially in my age group, to say you can do all these things. I know a lot of people would think someone that's 43 shouldn't be singing in a cover band, but if you can do it, you should do it.
Absolutely.
And so I felt so blessed, that I won this show in the first place, because honestly, you guys, I never in a million years thought I had a chance. I was making such a gigantic ass out of myself on TV, because I didn't think I could win the show. And it was,
you mean get the pilot approved for your own reality show, you mean?
No, the original concept was called Give Me My Reality Show,
Mm-hmm.
and I was up against several other celebrities.
So you really did win the show on that?
I won it.
Rodney, I have to tell you, I guess I have to believe it. I always think that either they already know what they're doing or they do the pilot and then you never hear of it again. But you won the chance to produce your own show on a real reality show that said Win My reality show.
As long as they named it Bonaducci.
Right. Okay.
No, because you know what? I was up against people from American Idol and Baywatch, so again, I never in a million years thought I could
Who from
win this
Baywatch
show.
was up there?
Tracy Bingham.
You're kidding me. You beat her?
I beat her, yes,
Wow.
and Ryan
She's been
Starr.
around too long.
No, I don't think so. I think that's a good victory there over Tracy.
You know what?
The
Baywatch is
Bonaducci
huge.
craziness, I think, is working in your favor, and I know why you have the last name. But, Gretchen, I mean this. I really do hear a sincerity in your voice. You don't sound like a nut or an airhead, and I think maybe they went, you know what? This is a good-looking mom married to the crazy guy, and now with the band and the whole thing. I mean, I watched that Kardashian thing. I don't know.
I don't get that.
I don't get there's no music. They have no talent. If a talent is trying clothes on.
You know what that is? That's just looking at stupid people. That's what that shows.
Yeah.
Let's look at stupid
I've never
people.
seen it. I've never seen it, but you know what? I kind of feel like women identify, or I hope they will, with me because, you know, I've never even seen a $16,000 purse. So these women running around in these $10,000, you know, pants and stuff. I drive a hybrid. I do have a beautiful house, but I bought it as an investment. All my girlfriends are working class, pretty much. I mean, I do have some friends that are in the business, but I think women, or I hope anyway, they'll go, wow, that is me. You know, that's a woman who I can identify with, who is a single mother running around trying to, you know, get kids to and from school and get in meetings in between. You know, I have
and married and nut. A lot of women married nuts.
Yeah, but let's
a lot of people, sure. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but let's get to why people are going to watch. People are going to watch because.
Have you thought of it yet, Rodney?
No, I was leaving her at ...
Yeah, they're going to watch. She just said it. It empowers women.
Nah, people don't watch empowerment. Forget about that.
It's the band.
They can relate.
The band. They're watching.
That'll
the band
be good.
The band. Band's good.
The band is fun.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care why they watch.
The shenanigans that people.
I just hope they watch. You know,
Can you still have children?
can I still have children? I believe that I probably cannot. I just had my levels tested, and
okay.
My doctor said if you would like to have them, we would have to be very aggressive in your treatment.
Okay, so you're not going to have like John and Kate +8 and start having kids with the drummer.
You're not
don't
going to be
think
the
so.
octo mommy.
Nope,
No,
I have no plans for that. You know,
I
I
want
have
to hear
two,
more
and that's all I
shenanigans.
can.
Hear more shenanigans. I'm
Lots
serious.
of shenanigans. I'm
Give me an
telling you.
example.
I went out on dates with other people because, you know, my relationship was new. And if I'm contemplating having a serious relationship with someone down the line, I need to be sure because once I get married, I lose my alimony. So I cannot afford to make a mistake.
Do not get married.
Yeah,
you know what? I love being married.
No.
Not to Danny.
That drummer's going to nix that. in a
Have the
minute.
drummer at his apartment, you
Yeah,
at your house, the
come
check
on.
comes in.
You know what?
You know.
You're going to be surprised. I think when you watch, he's going to surprise you as being not what you thought at all.
He's not going to make 20 grand a month.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you know what?
And
Who
10
cares?
of it's going to go to Ukrainian hookers.
As long as we can pay our bills, you know, I've got some money saved. So
Okay.
you know what? As long as we can live and be happy, all I want is not to be
You know what? I don't know what's happened to me, but
That's your annuity.
I wait for people to come on and I think I'm going to hear, you know, this dumb thing and all. I hope it works out for you. I just get a great feeling from you. I know you got those kids, and so that's all I care about too. So anytime you need to promote something, the Jay Thomas Show here at Sirius XM is available to you.
Oh, thank you.
I
so
wish you the
much.
best of luck, and I don't want you to get heartbroken. And it would be great if Danny could sue you for alimony one day. That means you make a lot of money. All right, Gretchen?
You know what? I pray for that day. That would be
Yes.
awesome.
All right.
That I have more money than him. All right, you boys have a great day, and thank you so much for the time. I
Thank you.
appreciate you letting me come on.
On Fox Reality, Gretchen Bonaducci. It's reinventing Bonaducci.
What time is that again?
9 o'clock
9
Eastern.
Pacific.
9 Pacific.
What day?
On Saturday.
Saturday.
This Saturday.
That's a perfect slot.
Hey, Gretchen, thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I really, again, appreciate the time. Thank you for letting me on.
Thank you. All right. It's the Jay Thomas Show. I'll tell you how
It'd
much.
be like me having a show and naming it Jay Thomas. You know what I mean?
Sure. You know.
And now, Jay Thomas. And I think, hey, I'm on Ely County. Hey, you know what I think, Jay?
What?
I think you were a little sweet on her.
You know, something is
I'm
happening
serious.
to me. The other day when we had the Christy Hemme on, the wrestler, you know.
Yeah, you got a little misty over her, too.
I liked her a lot, too. And then this Gretchen. And now, of course, as I'm reading the notes, you know, beside the penis thing, I didn't want to go into it, but
I did.
I know you did, and I should have done it.
I was trying to steer it back into penis shenanigans, and you were busy.
Open relationship she was going to have with
Yeah,
this.
you were being paternal, and you were like, oh, dear.
Protected.
Don't worry, you'll make it. And I was like, penis.
So the open relationship means she can be with other men and women, and he can be with other men and women.
Who knows? But he's a drummer, for Christ's sake. He's going to Europe. That's
Oh,
what
and
I
leaving
can't
her.
wait. I can't wait to see I'm actually going to watch the Gretchen show now because I got to see this drummer.
Well,
Don't you want to see him?
Yeah, no, I do. I know the other thing is I think that especially today I'm being especially kind because, you know, I'm trying to be kind so I don't die tonight at Caroline's.
No.
You know?
Oh, you're nervous.
Absolutely.
You're
I'm nervous.
vulnerable.
You
That's
betcha.
what it is.
You're right.
You know, we should talk after the show, and I'll lend you a few of my winners.
Okay, good. I'll take a couple.
You know what I mean?
I'll
Some
take
of them winners.
Yeah, I'll take a couple.
Some of
The
them-
only one I have is
some of them headliners.
when you hits 28 cell. That's the only one I have.
that's a heckle thing. Don't use that.
I need another heckle.
Appropriate.
I have to wait till it happens.
Yeah.
So that's it. So you know, yeah, you're right. I think that I am vulnerable when I'm vulnerable to these women. Yeah. And
sweet on her.
How old are the little kids? Jesus Christ. The kids are going to be ruined by this.
Oh, yeah.
When they're old enough, they're going to see video. They're going to read books about it. What happens to these children when they get of knowledgeable age?
2 words. Tori Spelling.
They become like Tori friggin' Spelling.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll be okay. Who's to say? Hey, Jay, maybe you can help.
You know, there was a time when I was offered the possibility by the Bravo people of a reality show. And it was when I was a realtor, you know, and I really wasn't doing a lot of work. And these guys came to me and said, okay, here's the show. What
was the name of your show? Ted Danson?
You're failed. I mean to get people to tune in. All right. You're a failed actor.
And now welcome to Frank Sinatra.
You're a failed actor, and you've become a realtor. And it was going to show what a big loser I was, right? And my wife said, I'm not going on TV.
Not putting up with that.
No, I'm not doing it, she said.
No.
So I said, what should I do? And she said, hire somebody to play your wife. I'm not doing it. I should just move to another town and go, it's me, Howard Stern. Just sign on. S-T-I-R-N-E. Howard Stern, you know? And Betty Boobie. Betty Boobie's on with me.
Jay Thomas.
It's the Jay Thomas Show.
I'm my own man. I'll run this mother the way I want to.
The Jay Thomas Show. Afternoons. The Jay Thomas Show.
On Indy. Sirius XM 104.
So you're married 34 years. What do you build your wife? A giant 80-foot concrete blue whale. Then you die and your son is stuck with it. Only on the Jay Thomas Show, Holiday Road.
Pull off the highway and into something amazing. Holiday Road. The Jay Thomas Show.
Well, after Labor Day, after Memorial Day, we always, have these fabulous treats for those of you that'll be on vacation. And, of course, I try and pick ones that will not be hard on the wallet, because of the horrible economy that we have. Let's go. Blaine Davis is with us from Catoosa, Oklahoma, right there on Route 66. How far is Catoosa from Oklahoma City, Blaine?
Approximately 100 miles. It's about 12 miles from downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow. Now, my friend Kevin Meaney is here. Kevin is quite a well-known comedian and actor. Do you ever watch HBO?
Yes.
He's been on that.
Why are you doing this to me, Jay? I mean, I'm sure Blaine recognizes me and my voice, and
I don't know.
He's probably seen the movie Dig.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played the second executive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you eat meat, Blaine?
Do I what?
Do you eat meat?
We had a barbecue quiz
I'm
going.
sure he likes barbecue, right?
Yeah.
Oh, barbecue. Well, I come from part of the country that knows about barbecue.
At the end of the interview, we're going to ask you a barbecue question.
Okay, we'll ask you a barbecue question at the end of the interview.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. But so we won't ask that question now.
Not yet.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
So, Blaine, you're there on Route 66 in Oklahoma, Catoosa. Am I saying it right?
That's correct, Catoosa.
Now, this 80-foot blue cement whale, who built this thing?
My father built that.
And what was the occasion?
Well, we're not sure. It ended up being a gift to my mother for her 34th wedding anniversary.
I think that is the 34th wedding anniversary gift.
Yeah, 34th wedding anniversary gift. However, it was primarily built for kids and grandkids.
Yeah.
Now, is it in water? Is that a lake or a pond that it's built in?
Yes, it's a pond, and it's actually in the water. It was constructed in the water. It was not constructed on dry land and a pond built around it. It was built out in the pond.
Did your father use scuba gear to go down underneath?
He used a little flat-bottom boat and drove pilings and things and steel pilings in out of the flat-bottom boat, and then once it got above the water level, and he started welding things.
Well, your mother could see what was going on there, right?
She could see what was going on. She had no idea what it was until it took 2 years to do this, so it was slow coming into the image of a whale.
Did she think, like, during the 31st anniversary that by the time it was the 34th anniversary she was going to have a big blue whale?
She figured out about halfway along in there that this thing was going to be a whale, and
but had no idea it was going to be an anniversary gift.
No.
Now, did your parents? It says, did your mom and dad go through Africa at one time?
My father did. He was not married to my mother at that time. He was still a young man and single at the time he went to Africa.
Oh, he must have had some wild times as a single guy.
Well, he was young, and he went with the Martin and Osa Johnson expedition as a photographer. And
did he ever tell you about,
yes,
big time? Now, did he like snakes? Did he put snakes around him? And
always had them around. His lifetime career was he was the curator of Mohawk Park Zoo in Tulsa, the Tulsa Zoo, for 38 years.
Wow. Now listen, when you're driving on old Route 66 in Catoosa, Oklahoma, pull off the giant blue whale. Can you see it from Route 66?
Yes, you can, particularly if you're southbound.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to see if you're going northbound or northeasterly direction. It's a little hard to see. You got to be quick on the glance to see it because it does sit in the pond, and ponds are in the lower elevation than the land around it. So it's kind of hard to see from that direction. Coming westward or coming southbound over 66, it's very easy to see.
I thought Route 66 was east-west.
It's primarily east-west. Its general direction is northeast to southwest.
Okay.
But
just wanted to clarify
in this part of the state, it runs almost a direct north-south route.
Now, it says here that your mother joined your dad on a lecture circuit where he would wrap reptiles around her waist.
That's correct. Around her waist and around her neck and her arms. And
oh my God.
She would stand there and put up with this because she was used to it. She married into it. She knew what she was getting into when she married him.
Mm-hmm.
And
what a wild couple. They were wild.
They're strange, yes. Most people don't do that.
No. Kind of like swingers, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were quite a different deal. They were quite a couple.
Now, does this whale have a blowhole and water comes out of it or something? What happens? Does the whale just sit there, or does it?
It just sits there now, but in its heyday, yes, it did have. The blowhole was still there, and I suppose you could get it hooked up to water and make it do that again. But when it was a live functioning swimming hole, it did that.
Oh, now, it's not a swimming hole anymore.
Now, it's like made for your mother. Does it look like your mother in any way? Was she a large?
Not at all. Not at all. It's a big blue whale, and my mother was a small, fiery redhead.
I have to tell you, and she was happy that my wife would not like this as a gift, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. She was happy. She has always had, she always had, an interest in whales, although I don't think that my mother ever saw a live whale, but she was very interested in them because, one, they were the biggest thing in the ocean and all that, and they were her favorite, and gosh, what can you say? When somebody gives you an 80-footer, you got to be happy.
You got to be happy with
And there's a slide there?
At the present time, we have removed the diving boards and slides and things like that because we, for liability purposes, can't allow swimming. But in its heyday, yes, there were.
You know what? Hasn't all of that's just ruined the fun of having the big blue whale on Route 66? You mean the kids used to stop there and jump off the whale and swim in the water? Now they can't do that.
How many drownings have you had in the pond? None. Yeah. See?
There were no drownings. There is a word, I think, out on the internet and stuff that happened. No one ever drowned here.
Did the whale ever snap at anybody?
No, he has lockjaw. He can't move his mouth. He's pretty much in place. Yeah.
Smiling, happy whale. Now, are you married?
I was.
You were married. So, did you ever give your wife a gift like this for your anniversary?
No, and I'm not sure what kind of response I would have gotten if I did. I would have probably been married less than I was if I would have done that. So,
yeah, well,
I think it had to be a unique woman that they gave this to.
Yeah. Thousands of people are driven by the big blue whale, which is on Route 66 in Catoosa, Oklahoma, and 15 miles east of Tulsa. Well, thank you so very much, Blaine Davis, for being on Holiday Road. We really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure, and you guys out running around, just stop by sometime.
We will come by and see.
Why don't we ask him the question?
Oh, that's right. Now it's time for the barbecue question. This comes from Kevin Meany. Go ahead.
What is the biggest piece of meat that's gotten stuck in your throat?
The biggest piece of meat that ever got stuck in my throat? Well, I can't remember one ever getting stuck. I managed to get it on down, but...
you got it down?
A good chunk of steak.
Good chunk of steak.
Sirloin, or was it porterhouse, or what was it?
It would probably be sirloin. It has a good flavor to it.
Yeah, it does.
Then either that or a ribeye.
Yeah, ribeye. Oh, yeah, I love to get that ribeye stuck in my throat.
Well, thank you so much, Blaine.
Okay, welcome, and you guys drop by anytime.
Big blue whale, Route 66.
Can't miss it.
And thanks for being part of our barbecue experiment today. What's the largest piece of meat you've ever had stuck in your throat? Kevin, we'll do it again, I promise.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you very much, Jay.
You're almost like a news guy. You got the tie on and all. It's like we're saying so long at 10 o'clock, you know?
And that's the way it was.
That's the way it's going to be.
May 23rd, 1986.
Remember to put a helmet on
front
it.
gate.
That's right. All right. Courage. What an idiotic thing to say, right? Happy. So long. Poor bastard. I mean, what kind of money can you make just taking tickets for people to look at the blue whale? You can't swim. You can't jump out of it, you know. Wife left him. He's stuck in, Catoosa, Oklahoma.
Now, get ready for the most frightening movie of all time. Radio host by day, killer by night. He will stop at nothing to fuel his thirst for blood. From the people who brought you Chud, an interview with Kevin Bacon. Get ready when Jay attacks.
Now this, my friend, will be one of the worst moments of your life. Okay, asshole. You want to play? Okay.
When Jay attacks.
Doesn't seem like I have complete control.
He never stops.
Get over here! Right.
He'll keep coming.
Shut up!
Jay attacks.
You sicken me. People have to die sometime. You want to live forever? Can't be true. Can't happen. Okay, laugh in my face. You sicken me. You little bastard.
When Jay attacks, he never stops.
We're not gonna make this personal.
Once he's got you,
Shut up!
it's over.
Like I need this.
Jay attacks. Coming this summer to a theater near you.
But you know what? Sometimes the earth has to suck people in to get rid of them.
This film is not yet rated.